Gosh, Chris, it actually started up. All right. Welcome back to another episode of Vikings, Outlaws, and Cowboys. VOC for short. We got the my cheeky compadre, the boat, with me as always, and then we have our special boy, Murph, with us.
What's up, gang?
All the specialness.
He's too busy smiling. He forgot he had to talk.
Oh yeah, it's cool. What do? I don't know what to do with my hands.
So, what's been up, Murph?
Just hanging out, spending, doing yard work at your house and getting covered in some paint.
Did you get the rhino lining off your hands?
Yeah, well, mostly. It's still there in parts.
In parts? I don't. Yeah.
See your knuckles, bro.
See, look. It's
we got to carb clean his knuckles.
it's
now.
still there.
This guy.
Talk about just coming and tearing up the whole outside.
Dude,
Oh,
yeah.
fucking destroyed it. But it cleaned up when I was done.
Yeah, you went full Murph mode the second a little bit of rain came down, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. That checks out. So, what's going on? Anything new, boys?
Yeah, rough day today, but other than that, I had a good weekend. And
You had a rough day, huh?
yeah, a little bit, man, a little bit. Like one thing after another, man. But I got a cool new intro for our fire report, so that's good. That's
good.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing much?
Yeah, just a little bit.
What the fuck is going on with my mustache here? Like, oh,
It's a gay mustache.
what's the
You know how you know
difference?
it's a gay mustache?
It's the smell.
That's how it smells.
It says a guy rocking a Fu Manchu.
It's because it doesn't grow in very well. Up here and right here, kind of got a Joe Dirt thing going. So
Bro, you got a baby face.
no, like it'll grow in like right here and then right here, like it's straight as Joe Dirt.
Hashtag no filter.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, we got a lot to go over today. Are you guys ready?
Always.
I am as ready as I'm getting.
Sometimes.
I'm really curious. Oh no, it works. It works. I got to figure out numbers now. This is really hard. Oh, look, there's numbers in the corner.
Yeah, there's numbers.
Oh, that's neat. Cool. I can turn this part off then.
Yeah.
Sweet. Let's fucking rock and roll. All right. Sorry. Trying to get used to this new thing you got us doing here.
Yeah, we're rocking a new recording program, and it's our first go around with it, so bear with us.
Yeah, it's like we're starting all over again.
It is
all over again.
Brand new.
Yeah. All right, just to give the peeps a rundown. Okay, so it's the new format. We'll probably be bouncing back and forth between this one and the next one, or this one and the old one. This is going to be our kind of our Rumble live format. So you guys are kind of getting a sneak peek on this episode. You're getting a bonus episode for this week, and that's why we have our special boy here, Murph, because we want to pick his brain, and we want some of his input on some of the topics that we talked about last time and our topics for this time.
Mm-hmm.
So be prepared. And Murph's not drinking, so he better get some energy.
I got some water until my meat is cold.
And then
we'll be ready.
The whole ass bottle. Why don't you just pour ice?
I was just going to set it just right out of the bottle.
You could have just put it on ice.
Yeah, you could have just put
That's
it
not
on
the same. It waters it down. I like it like fridge cold, not ice cold.
Well, see, everybody has their mead preference.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the ladies behind him, got the ladies behind me, kind of over there.
Mm-hmm.
Beach ball status.
But there's an oddball. There's that little odd duckling right there.
Yeah, I'm repping America behind me today.
Yeah, it's always good to be repping. So am I. And the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
I got the gun over there that's, America.
What are you drinking tonight, Yarl?
Oddly enough, some of Murph's Coronas. I happened to have went through all the silver bullets this weekend.
Even the stuff I bought for Dad?
Uh,
You got those the yellow bellies.
Oh, yeah, the yellow bellies.
Yeah, I forgot about those. I don't think they ever made it into the fridge.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, so they're still here. Well, this is awkward. Just the new format's really fucking with me. Like, I'm about to go straight into the fire report and really fucking light this bitch up. Anyway, so let's go down. Let's get the overview. So obviously we have the fire report going into It's Mental. We got the hot take from Murph on some of this social media loneliness. We want to hear that. It sounded like you had some solid opinions on it.
Mm-hmm.
And we have can we still be friends during the election?
Oh,
I think that's gonna be tough. I mean, I think we'll be friends, but
we'll be good.
But yeah, I think the trolling people on social media may end up with less friends. Let's see, trafficking. We're going back into conspiracy corner. We're going to talk about some trafficking a little bit more. We got into the spookies last time, and yeah, we have a couple topics that we'll just leave wide open. You'll just have to. It's like one of those Instagram videos where they tell you to stay to the end and then nothing happens.
Oh, dude, I got roped into one of those for like 4 minutes today, and I was so pissed.
Really fucking chaps my hide.
It was such a good story about
it's a ruin
skydiving, and then she came up missing, and then they found her at this fisherman's house like 4 years later. And then they said,
a fisherman's house?
Yeah, because she was skydiving over the ocean, I guess. And then
would you skydive over the ocean?
I don't know.
Softer landing.
I hear that shit. It's like cement.
Yeah, it's just as hard as landing is.
Yeah,
dirt.
Yeah,
well, I'm not going to try it out. So
yeah, I could see you like ending up in the Great Salt Lake though. At least you'd float.
Haven't you skydived before?
Quite a few times.
Yeah,
it's actually one of the best feelings you'll ever have.
Really?
Yep.
Huh.
You have to at least do it twice though, because the first time, like, you're jittery, you don't know what to expect. Then the second time, you can actually really pay attention to it and get into it, and it's.
I feel like I would pay a lot of attention to it the first time too.
I feel like I just shit in my pants as much attention that I'd be paying.
You're not as nervous. Is that better? You're not as nervous the second time.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, they would be calling me like the brown bomber by the time we got done.
Is it like one of those closer to God things?
No, I don't think so. It's more so like you don't think about anything. Like, all you're thinking about is like you're out up in the sky, just free falling. Like, the free fall is the best. Then when you pull the chute, like, you're just kind of floating around like a bird. Nothing else matters. Nothing in the world that's going on matters. Just you, the parachute, and the ground.
So, I mean, like, once the parachute opens, I think that it would be a lot more fun.
No, the free fall is the best part.
Well, I know, but the whole time I'd be like, fuck, is it going to open? Is it going to open? Is it going to open?
If it doesn't, only your problem.
Is this skinny guy that's strapped to my back going to be able to fucking,
If it doesn't open, it's only your problem for about 30 seconds.
That's true. That's true.
It's not your problem anymore.
And then I'm aiming for some grass.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm aiming for like a car driving down the road. Like,
oh wow, you're gonna end it violently.
Well, you figure that's like a hell of a shot.
Like a minivan.
A moving target.
Just like try and slam down on the top of a minivan.
Yeah.
Or like
shit up.
Like like a bug on a semi.
Yeah.
Somebody's CDL.
I ruined someone's CDL.
Driving through the desert, and all of a sudden you get a rob on the windshield.
That's not good for business. That load is going to be late.
Yeah, that is not going to be on time. And that's going to be one hell of a story for that truck driver to tell.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to be like, dude, I was just driving down the road, and all of a sudden there was a bug, then a person, and I don't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you can't really turn the windshield wipers on.
Yeah.
So some shit went down this weekend. We went to a event, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say what event yet. I better clear that with the important pretty people.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really cool. We were the booze vendor for it, and there was about 200 people there, and everybody loved the stuff. Everybody, by the end of the night had their favorite flavors. We had the first four there. We had OG, we had Utagli, we had we had the new flavors there too. We had Fjord and the Lochner. So let's see what else. What were the other ones? We had Healy, Healy and Tier there too.
Hmm.
Sorry. So everybody kind of got a little taste and sampling of everything that we had, and then by the end of it, people were coming back for their favorite ones. And it was really funny too, because the people that you didn't think were going to cycle through all of them, like they cycled through all of them. It was pretty impressive, actually. I was like, oh man, we're going to have some people that are going down. I'm like, you guys got a ride, right? Trying to serve responsibly. Oh yeah, we all Ubered here. So that was good.
That's good.
But yeah, I was pretty impressed with some of these people. They were, the people that went through all of them, I swear, none of them could have been over 130 pounds. But I was like,
tiny women.
I was like, holy shit. Yeah, tiny women, tiny men going through this stuff. But they all seemed to like it, well received. So there was a lot of people that chose the Lochner and the Fjord as their new favorites. So that's the Huckleberry Mead and the Peach.
Yeah.
So
we've bumped them up a lot too.
Yeah, we have. We've really beat the brakes off those. So you guys, it's the real deal. People like them. Go out and check them out.
Yeah, it's no joke.
They are officially on the website now too for purchase. So you can go out there and buy up a couple. And then we have 2 more that should be hitting the website this week, end of this week, starting next week. So beware, get a new case.
Yeah, they're ready to go.
Let's see. Did you neither one of you guys taste the peach or the
No.
Oh man.
No, I think he just brought enough bottles down for the event this weekend, and then he was going to bring some more that of purchase when he came back down.
Well, so we can't bring him back down for purchase.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Just because of Utah so far. So, I don't think that there was anything left after the event. There was probably a handful of bottles, but none of them were the new ones. So, yeah, we'll have to journey up to Montana here at the end of the month and try them out. We're gonna have some MMA fights up there, which is gonna be pretty kick-ass.
Yeah.
Unintended.
Yeah.
No, nobody, nothing.
I mean,
you guys.
Yeah, we.
When you do your Miyagi over there.
I had to do the Miyagi. I wasn't getting enough. This is a tough crowd tonight. Tough crowd.
What are the details on that? Do we know what the details are on the MMA fight?
Yeah, so we're going to be hosting the first official sanctioned MMA fight, and during the break, I'll get the name of the actual fight club, as it were.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, it's a fight club.
We're going to talk about fight club.
No, it's a different fight club, dude. Everybody wants you to talk about it.
Okay.
So we'll get. I'll get the name and everything of that. I didn't do my 7 Ps before I decided to mention that. So I'll get that down there, and we'll
come back.
We'll pump that up.
So are we building a stage at the meadery, and that's where they're going to fight, or are we going to get like one of those huge, like a drive-in movie theater screen, or are we going to be at the arena and we get to introduce them, or what? How is the hosting going on that one?
So I got a blow-up bull for Murph to ride.
Yes.
And he's going to be the ring girl for round 2 on all the fights, just riding the bull.
I'm going to get a BVMC Speedo just for you.
Yeah, some embroidered chaps maybe.
Yep.
Something good. And then as far as the new swag goes, the new swag is coming, and we'll have that up on the website too. So you can order your bottles and your swag, so you can be super supportive, extra supportive. We got some new stuff on the way, and then we got the shirt that you're wearing right now, Boat, coming back out, and some new hats coming at you. So, all right, well, that was fucking boring. Let's get on to some cool shit, huh? What do we think about you guys got anybody to add to the fire report?
I don't have anybody to add to the fire report. Did you bring up the website?
Yeah. Has my internet slowed down? Like, are we still good?
Yeah, no, you're still good today.
All right. Well, that's neat, gang. All right. Well, let's jump right into this fire report here. turns out that the United States and Canada is in fact still burning.
Everywhere.
Yeah. So good news though. Lots of the fires in California got put out.
Oh, that's good.
But yeah, Oregon's still burning. So that's a bummer for them.
Is Montana still burning?
Not so much anymore. There's 4, 5, 6 good ones. Right there in Montana. One, semi close to the meadery, I guess. Yeah, right in between it. It's damn close to us. So good news though, it's far enough away where we don't give a fuck yet.
Well, that's good. Yeah.
But our home state here, we only got 2 or 3 big ones, so it's not as hot as it was.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's still on fire. But I do want to add 2 mics again to the fire report because they just hit their 100th episode.
Yeah.
Their anniversary episode, and it was pretty awesome. There was lots of montages, and in the montages, oddly enough, Mike's wearing the same shirt the whole time. So that was pretty awesome. He's gonna retire the shirt, and it's gonna end up going in like a glass case or something somewhere. It's because it's a national treasure at this point.
It's
because
the Yankee shirt that he always wears.
No, it's like his white American flag shirt, but I'm pretty sure that I think it's a We the People shirt actually.
Mm-hmm. We the People.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that he's worn it 50 out of the 100 episodes.
Oh, so this is very experienced.
Yeah, it's like his power shirt. Some guys have a power tie. I think it's his power shirt.
Power shirt.
Yeah, I think it makes the most sense.
I was listening to his show earlier, and he was talking about it, and they showed the intro, but I was late coming in, so I didn't get to see the intro. And then as soon as I went to go fire up tonight's episode, my interwebs went down, so I didn't get to see the intro again. And by the time it came back up, the show was over. So I'm gonna have to catch it on the recording.
Hey, well, I'm glad your internet came back up because
too.
We're all trying to work tonight. We're waiting on you.
Could have been a real shit show.
Yeah. Well, since we don't have any more fire questions here, do we really care about Canada?
No, not really. Not at the moment.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Maybe it'll hit Trudeau's house. All right, well, let's close that down because that's really taking up the bandwidth. So yeah, you got anybody to add to the fire report there, Murph?
No, I think I'm just just love everybody.
I think I'd add you to the fire report.
That's only because it's the red.
Yeah,
that wasn't even a
ginger,
it wasn't even a ginger joke, but that's awesome. Yeah.
Well, the worst part is it's going white, and they don't have ginger colored fucking hair dye, so you just deal with it.
Yeah, it's either really, really red, or it's like that strawberry blonde. That all the girls like.
900 different shades of fucking ginger. You just deal with it.
Yeah, you could get transgender red, I think.
Nah, I'm good. I'll let it go gray.
Maybe do some purple streaks in it.
Pan.
Yeah, it's like a flash in the pan. All right. Well, I guess we'll just get into it then. You guys, let's get the hot take on the social media loneliness. So last week. Fuck,
yeah.
Last episode.
Well, yeah. Tuesday's episode.
Tomorrow's episode. You'll see that before this, so it'll all work out. Right?
Yeah.
That's going to be so much easier when it's live. So we talked about kind of the loneliness that social media creates because people are talking all the time and posting all the time and make life look really, really great for them and what they're posting. But what we talked about was how lonely people actually are now because of social media, because they're not actually getting together or doing anything. And they're really not taking care of themselves. They're just posting fun pictures to make it seem like, life is great when in reality, shit might be going down and they don't really have anybody to talk to or anybody to reach out to, or they do, and they're just not because they don't have that social interaction anymore outside of the social media is Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff. So we kind of gave our thoughts, and I'm excited to hear yours. I'm excited to see if there's some likeness or some things that are different.
Well, I see it as fucking like social media has destroyed everything. It's like I get a few people here and there make money off of it, but at the end of the day, it's destroyed everything. Like it's a fake show. Like you're trying to keep up with the Joneses. You're laying on your filthy couch, food everywhere, posting pictures
Who
from.
the fuck are you following on it?
Well, I'm not. No, but that's the point. Is that you don't see that side of it.
You're painting a picture there, guys.
Yeah, you got this person that they're uploading this picture of some scenery that they just drove straight to there, got a picture, went back home so they could post it. They're by themselves. They're sitting on their couch alone, and they fucking post it like they're living this fantastic dream. And it's like, it's not a dream. You're still by yourself. You're still not doing shit. It drives me insane. Like everybody's, oh, I got like fucking 10,000 followers on social media. Okay, well, how many people can you call that'll be there right now? Well, none. I could put a post on social media though. Yeah, get the fuck out of here with that shit. Like it's just destroyed it. Like nobody has that. Like you guys, it's been brought up like the drop by. Nobody has that drop by. Nobody just shows up and says, hey, let's start drinking, let's hang out, or let's fucking watch some TV or something. Like you don't have that. You sit around on your ass all day long just scrolling through fucking social media.
Yeah, no, it checks out. And you brought something up, somebody in help or somebody that needs help, and not being able to reach out or not reaching out. I mean, you guys came and saved my ass last week when my car broke. Right, I was having a nice little time thinking about how good of a drive I was having.
Just got to the bar, sat down, ordered a drink, and all Al broke down.
Hey, I very rarely do I break down, but when I break down, it is catastrophic.
He breaks down good.
Yeah, it was really cool that I broke down in the neighborhood because just walked to the neighbor's house and drank with the neighbor until you guys got there.
Yeah, that was really cool of him to pour
that's the best way to go about it.
Yeah, I need to get over there and give that guy a bottle of whiskey or something.
I was just saying, like, on top of that, like, social media, not only is it that, though, is it's destroyed your common, like, values that you should have. Like, nobody's faithful anymore. Everybody's lying or hiding shit. They're always trying to find something better. Like, nobody works towards anything anymore, whether it be friendships or relationships. Like, that shit's just gone. That's just, oh, well, I got these 30 bitches that are messaging me, so I'll just go find one of them. Like, all that stuff's gone. Like, you don't work towards anything with anybody anymore, and it's destroyed it. So so now you have all these guys that don't even want a relationship because these women have fucking 3,000 guys in their DM, and there's just no point in it anymore. So now you have more and more people that are just single and doing their own thing together, and so then it creates more of that loneliness. If you got all these people, you got these women that have all these people in the DMs, but not one true person that's going to show up for them, and guys that don't even want to bother with any woman because they've got all these people in their DMs and they don't trust anybody anymore. And so now on top of, being alone because you sit in your house just posting and scrolling, now you can't even get in a relationship with anybody because there's no trust or any real work that comes from anybody.
So that's something we actually talked about a little bit last week too, is that trust factor. And so, I'm not trying to put you guys on blast, but I think everybody knows that you guys are the single guys out there. So do you think that, starting out with you, Boat, do you think that that's had an impact on, trying to find a meaning relationship, or is it kind of deterred you from even trying to find a relationship? Because I know you both are, the guys that really just go out and, find a chick and start talking to them at the bar, right? You guys aren't out there on like a dating app or anything like that, but
I have them. I use them occasionally when I'm really bored and, just sitting home scrolling and it's like ordering off a menu. It's like, no. Fuck it. I move on to
this one will deliver to the door. Let's DoorDash this one.
For real. Like,
yeah, I don't have them.
It's like going to a restaurant. You got a menu right there with the picture of the entree and a brief description what it is. And you're like, oh, well, is this going to be it? You can't. There's no conversation. There's no nothing.
Right, so how does that make you feel being an entree, though, too? Because somebody had to match with you, right? So, like, I don't know if you're like a main course, but, you're a solid appetizer,
Yeah, good appetizer,
Yeah, I don't know. Those bird legs. Yeah, no, me personally, I don't have the dating apps. I don't. I feel like they're just they're fake, just as much as any sort of social media is. And I don't want to know too much about you. You know what I mean? Before I actually talk to you. So I'd rather just keep it keep it organic. You know what I mean?
That's a different policy. I don't know. Maybe you're the problem.
I don't. Maybe I am. I probably am. But I just don't want to. You know, I don't want to ruin the surprise. I mean, I mean, maybe you can attest to this, Rob. I think that a lot of times the whole draw in going out and meeting people is the story. It's the whole organic connection. You know what I mean? And I'd rather have that than like, you know, than to have an entree just kind of staring at me. And
you can't get any depth whatsoever.
Yeah, there's no depth.
Like there's nothing. Like and me, like I got a face for radio, so I got to be able to like show them I'm funny. And like when you're basing off a picture, I'm like, well, I'm fucked. But then it's like you have a conversation for a couple of days, and you meet up, and you realize like, oh, this bitch is weird as fuck, or whatever it may be.
Well,
like,
then you get catfish. Yeah.
But when you meet them in the bar, like or wherever you meet them, it could be the gym. It doesn't matter where, but you meet them out in public, in person. Like it's there, and they have your attention. You have their attention, and like that's right there. You're not sitting on a message like talking to 6 different people at once, bouncing back and forth, and not really having a true conversation with them.
Yeah.
Right. So like stocking the produce section at the local grocery store waiting for somebody to pick out zucchinis is like it's like a pastime then.
Well, and I still feel like that's how it is even on social media. Like, you know what I mean? Because I'll, you know, I follow a few people that like I don't know personally, and then you know, and sometimes comment on their stuff, just like, oh, that was badass, or you know, or that's a cool bike, or you know what I mean, or I like this
cool
one.
bike. The fuck?
Yeah,
I got a hockey going on.
Like a bicycle.
Fancy hockey you got.
Yeah.
I follow a few biker chicks, and they're pretty cool, like out in LA, and
like motorcycles.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
bicycles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a sweet.
I would clarify
there,
that.
Karen.
That is a sweet Schwinn.
Yeah.
Is that vintage?
You want to go get some organic food after this?
Yeah, no shit, right? I got my own bags. But
gross.
But yeah, but like, you know, but even like conversations like that, it's like I feel like, you know, like I'm the creepy one, you know what I mean? Like I just comment and don't say anything else. Don't be like, so yeah, single, or you know what I mean? Because that's just creepy. And then when people do that to me, I found that people have done that to me here and there on my boat profile. And it's just creepy. Like I don't.
Did they have numbers after their name?
They had bikes.
Oh, right. It's the bike thing. Yeah. No, that
they had
checks out.
twins. Yeah, no. Yeah, I get a lot of that bot shit too that I just dump and delete and block and all that. But
yeah.
But still, it's kind of a weird dynamic. You know what I mean? And even when people, you know, they'll try and you know, and like we'll have like a 2-week conversation, and then we're like, so when are you coming to this place or that place, or where do you live? And I'm just like, no thanks. You know what I mean? No,
on the conversation of the bots though, they need to try harder. Like I'll get them, they'll comment like I'll take a picture of like at the rodeo and it's a bull running by and fucking post it or something like that. I'm like, I love your picture. You look great. And I'm like, bitch, that's a fucking bull. Put some effort into it.
That was my brother standing next to the bull. Yeah. So do you find that, you know, you're talking about like these organic relationships, right? Going and meeting somebody organically. Do you find that after you start talking to them or something and then, you know, friend them on social media, that you're like, maybe not. Maybe like that discourages you a little bit, or, you know, maybe you lose some trust after you see some like shit
like
they post.
Friends and
yeah,
all their pictures in bikinis, and they got their link to their OF page and fucking their Venmo on there and their Amazon wish list, and it's like, all right, nope, I'm good. Move on.
So it is a deterrent. So we talked about that a little bit last week. Yeah, probably more than we should have. Yeah, the boat was really going down the path.
Hey.
Because he knows he's living it.
Yeah, he is.
The rest of them don't know.
Yeah, no, I can't comment to that. But so like that's just an immediate deterrent, right? So if you you find a cool chick at the bar and you guys, kind of hit it off or whatever, and then you see her on social media, you're like, fuck.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna be the guy with the camera.
I am the guy with the camera, but I'm going to be getting paid for it, and I'm not going to be hanging out with you.
Yeah, you're a landscape guy, like behind you.
Well, we were at the bar last week.
You've already seen it. Don't act like there's a deterrent for you.
Remember,
we just went more than one night. You'll still go talk to him.
Like you're not going to. We were at the bar, and what was it? What did we call her? Nashville walked in with the shiny dress and the.
She was on the wrong street.
Oh yeah, she's got an
OF. She was with her friend that was in like a t-shirt, some gym shorts, and fucking cowboy boots on. It's like, where the fuck did you guys meet up and decide to get dressed like that for?
It was a really weird signals that they were throwing back and forth. For sure.
They really were, but it's like that kind of chick. Like I'm not gonna go up and talk to her, and just because it's like I know I pretty much already know where that conversation's going, and I don't want to have it.
Yeah, follow me on this.
Yeah, and like you're just trying not to get roped into a really dumb conversation, because that's what I felt like would have happened there.
Yeah,
it's like,
I mean, that's majority of the conversations anymore nowadays. That like to have a good conversation with somebody is super rare. Like that again, that goes back to like there's no depth. There's like people just don't have that in them anymore. They're just fucking idiots. It's like they talk about the stupidest shit, and it's like, do you not pay attention to the real world? Do you not like have anything more than you than like the gym, tan, and laundry? Like,
yeah. And I feel like people are kind of forced to be more open and more honest, at least at first, when you talk to them in person rather than the socials, because they can hide behind that shit all fucking day long, and you can kind of almost feel it.
Yeah, that whole thing seems pretty terrifying. I feel for you guys.
All the years that I got divorced in 2015, and I've on and off of those apps here and there, and I think I met up with 2 of them in person actually that I met off of an app, and one of them looked like she was posting pictures from like 12 years prior and about 100 pounds before, and I'm like, okay. And then the other one just same thing, like there's just nothing there to it and pointless shit.
So what would you say like the loneliest part of the social media is? Would you say it's the dating, or would you say that it's following your boys, hooking up with your boys, and doing something, or what would you say the loneliest part is?
I think the biggest part is just knowing that you can't trust anyone out there, so there's no point in putting in the effort anymore, like, which makes it lonely. Like back in the day, you can go meet somebody and hang out with them, and you're the only person talking to them because you don't have 17 different apps, some of which that delete the messages and shit like that. Like, so you can't even trust it. So then it's like, why even put the effort into it with anybody when they're talking to 15 other dudes and got 17 that are just their friends or whatever the fuck it may be. Or I think that's the biggest part is it's like, you can't trust anybody. There's no real meaning to anything with anyone anymore. And so loyalty's out the window. So it's just like, you can go meet somebody at the bar, but I mean, ideally, is that really who you want to like spend a long time with? Is the chick that you picked up at the bar while you're throwing up drunk or she's throwing up drunk? Like,
that's the building blocks of a lasting relationship.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
Oh, totally. Yeah, not down the road, but not the first night.
You really get to see the inside.
I think that's the biggest.
Are we not doing phrasing anymore, bro? Come on.
I thought I landed that one again, but nobody. It's a tough fucking crowd tonight.
I got it.
We got Murph over here all stone faced and shit. He needs to go to bed.
I got so many fucking lights on me right now. It's weird.
You're the one that set up the lights.
It wasn't my idea. I was talking to the boat, and he's like, "Oh, dude, it looks a little dark, and you need to get some lights." So then I searched the house, and I'm like calling around trying to find a little desk lamp or something. And then it clicks on me like, oh, well, I'm a photographer. I've got a million studio lights. Now I got studio lights just blinding the fuck out of me.
He's in there sweating in the fucking power breakers because he's got so many lights.
I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight. I'm gonna have a tan.
That's gonna be good.
It's like you're on the casting couch.
For real. But it's in my bedroom. You know,
We need to get the
where the
we need to get
magic
the
doesn't
couch.
happen.
We need to get the leather couch and wheel it into your room for the podcast.
I got 2 of them in the theater room. Maybe I'll do the next one in there. I'll just set it up in the theater room with the casting couch right behind me.
There you go.
We ought to do the
Perfect.
cast from the casting couch. Is at one point like a VOC After Dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Theater room would be the way to do it. We could set everything up in there. It'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be one hell of a studio
And I've got
right there.
all the lights.
It'd be like Studio 54. We'd have like the disco ball hooked up and everything.
Hell yeah. Have a mirror on the table.
Whoa, easy.
Whoa. Are you talking like a big mirror or are you talking like a little mirror?
I'm talking about a little mirror.
Oh, okay.
Yes, a little guy.
I would say this is a family show, but
The old 70s mirror, huh?
Yeah, the old
It's in the bathroom, like glued to the countertop.
yeah,
What's this for?
the old sneaky roll top desk.
Yeah.
the roll top desk.
Yeah, you gotta watch out. You go to the Z's and the Rolodex and you get something that you don't want or that you do. I don't know. So we talked about the negatives, right, of social media and kind of the loneliness it brings too. But do you see, we like to end things happy here on Vikings, Outlaws, and Cowboys. I'm just kidding. I suck the wind.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, you couldn't even keep a fucking straight face on that shit.
Right out of the fucking podcast last time. And but do you see like the positives? Do you see positivity with social media as well?
I think the positivity on it is like, especially like you and I being, military, you can stay in touch with your friends that are all over the world. So that's always a plus. For business, it's huge. Like, it's easy just to go out and market. You don't have to go out door to door, be like, hey, you want to buy some mead? Hey, do you want some mead? It's like, just put the shit on social media and get it out there. So as far as that kind of stuff, marketing or staying in touch with like family or close friends or something like that, I think it's great. But I think it's just was designed for that and was taken to a whole different level.
Oh yeah, I think drastically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that that's definitely one of the things that I do the most is just try and keep up with buddies that I was in the Marine Corps with and people that you never get to see. We talked about just being able to laugh at one of their videos or something like that, or something they post, and then just dial up something that you think is funny over DMs or something, and then get hollered back at by them and just have a laugh for a minute and then just kind of go on about your life. But it's cool to be able to catch up with them, and the marketing aspect that you brought up is no doubt there's a definite advantage to the marketing side of it as far as podcasts and businesses and everything else goes, especially if there's a powerful message involved or a message that people get behind. And I think we definitely have messages that people can get behind. And I think really it's just finding those, because everything is in short clips now, right? So I think it really just comes down to
spends like a squirrel.
Yeah, exactly. We see them every fucking day, 30-second clips and stuff like that. And I think it's really just picking out those 30-second clips that people are going to get behind, or something that's funny as shit that people can relate to, that really light the fire and get people interested in, like, oh, well, that might be kind of cool. Maybe I should go check those guys out. Or, oh, I thought it was a meat company. It's MEAD. It's mead. It's like,
how many people mention that?
Oh my
What do you mean meat company?
No,
not
made
meat.
a meat
Alcohol.
company? Yeah, what
It's
do
the
you
absolute worst.
So you guys are out there chopping meat, huh?
And you got like the shirts with damn JT's head on it and shit like that, and you got the axes and stuff, and then somebody, what's that? Oh, it's meat company. Well, you guys like are butchers? No.
No, wouldn't even know where to start.
Could you see us in a fucking in a warehouse just fucking cutting meat?
Oh, you in the face would be so cold all the time, just like in the meat locker, cutting racks of ribs and shit down.
It'd be so cold.
Have you seen
being there punching it?
Yeah. They're training for his next big fight.
Sweating all over the meat.
Yeah, it's like, dude, we told you can't sweat on the meat. Dude. Stop.
Dude, you're not even fighting next week. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, there's these guys, the bearded butchers. They seem cool as shit, but yeah, they're constantly, and they're cool because they show you how to do it.
Oh, cool.
And like show you the cuts and everything. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that you and Tito would definitely die of hypothermia. In the fridge trying to cut meat down. So it's a good thing that we sweat our asses off in the meatery because there's no AC.
Yeah.
I think it got up to like 130 a couple weeks ago.
Just give it a couple months and it'll be a -30. You'll be fine.
Yeah, we had a heater. It was just we didn't have we're like, Montana, we have enough thermal barrier here. We were wrong because stuff puts off heat when it's fermenting. It was a small thing that was overlooked.
Like science, you know.
Yeah.
Dive all the way into the science.
Yeah, it was a rookie move on our part, and VIKO was not impressed with how hot it was in there. So we'll have AC pretty soon.
For the 3 weeks of the year, you'll need it.
Yeah, exactly, for the week and a half. So should we take a break? Get some sponsor action in here?
Yeah, let's hear from our sponsor.
Hey, meatheads, meat maidens, beardos, and everyone in between. The boat here for the Bearded Viking, reminding you that our mead is a new go-to drink for all occasions. Poured out of the fridge, over ice, in a cocktail, in a slushie, or even heated up on a chilly night to warm up. Anywhere you pour it, you won't be disappointed. With front port shipping available in over 40 states across the U.S., Bearded Viking Mead Co. gives you the freedom to meet up anywhere, anytime. So snag your bottles at beardedviking.com. Gather your crew, pop the cork, pour them high, raise your glass, and shock 'em always, gang.
All right, so we're back from back to our regularly scheduled.
I got me some Healy here.
Hey,
bottle 1, batch 1, bottle 976.
Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
He's a true rep.
Jalapeno Healy.
While I'm at it, we my fancy nice shirt that we got here. If anybody needs one, we the people are fed up. Like Devil Dog Inc. I'm gonna do my own sponsorship.
He got his own plug in there.
Yeah.
Not
that we have sponsors or anything, but you know.
Hey, dude, but you I think you've made the most comments on the most shows, so I mean,
it's between him and
I've earned it. I paid my dues a little.
Yeah.
I'm
trying.
Well, and the boat did the graphics, just so everybody sees. Let me pull this back up again. Shout out to the boat again, because he comes up with some badass shit.
Yeah, we do fun stuff. That one was cool. That one was a lot of fun to do.
Hey, you know what? So I've been trying, since we're talking about sponsorships and stuff, I spoke to Uncle Nick over the weekend, and we were just kind of shooting the shit back and forth. He was saying how excited he was for the new flavors to drop, but he also showed me some, and I hope he doesn't get mad, but he sent me some pictures of some woodworking that he did, and he made some really cool, it was like some lathe work basically, and he made some really cool bowls, and I forget what he said it was. I have to go back and look, but it was essentially what you use to kind of punch a hole in the dirt for starters if you're transplanting plants and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, dude, that shit's really good. Like for amateur hour, that stuff looks like it's professional. Like you probably should look into doing some woodwork, guy.
Yeah.
Hang out in the back shop and just create stuff out of wood.
Shit, yeah, man. It's better than wearing a fucking tie to work.
Yeah. Fuck.
Do you even know how to tie a tie?
Yeah, that was a good question. Do you know how to tie a tie?
I've been shown how to tie a tie at least a dozen times, but it just doesn't stick.
Huh.
And now Al at least knows how to tie it one way.
Yeah, I dabble with 2 or 3, but usually I just go back to the same one.
I think I've got 7 or 8 different styles that I do, but they're all crazy different weird knot looks, like the infinity and.
Yeah, if it's gonna take me an hour to tie the tie, I'm pretty much fucking out.
Yeah. Oh no, it's worth it 100%.
No,
because I have a gigantic neck, so I mean, it's like
that's true. You won't even see it with the beard. So.
Yeah, it's like
thanks for the visual, bro.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
Now I done fucked up, Ron.
Shit.
So anyway, yeah, I got like a left little. I don't know what's going on.
Hey, at least it's mine's just everywhere. I don't know what it's doing.
So yeah, so I was like, dude, you should definitely do some lathe work in the back and just start your own business, because I thought that was cool as shit.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of people that know how to like do good woodwork anymore, and we know a couple, and just like the stuff that they do just blows me away, right? And I'm envious, right? Being able to create something like that with your hands takes a lot of fucking time, but God, some of it turns out freaking beautiful. So
some people are just good like that, and some people can't even figure out how to pull weeds.
That's true. That's true.
Hey, I was getting itchy, bro.
I'm not throwing any names out there, but their initials are the boat goat.
I'm still swollen over that shit.
From the weeds?
Yeah, dude. It was getting my.
He's got an allergy to shovels.
Yeah, you're
the only guy that uses shovels to pull weeds.
My hay fever was kicking up, dude. And
that's what we need to call you from now on, is hay fever.
Hay fever.
They're not going to know whether you're trying to roll in the hay with a hog or pull some weeds.
I need to apply ointment. It's not that bad.
This fucking guy's got his anti-itch cream out.
Vagisil. So he's gonna hold it up as sponsor. Vagisil for those itchy days.
Yeah, it's good on the whole. So yeah. So our next topic is, I've titled it very simply, working too hard for too damn little.
Oh, see, no. This is where I got some shit to say.
Yeah. Oh, look, Rob's gonna liven up. He's got a little bit of Healy in him, and he's about to break this fucker wide open.
Yeah.
So we've all kind of experienced this in some way, shape, or form, and I think that most of America is going through it, especially the middle class, trying to just work their ass off, and it's really not helping. The more work you do, you still get paid like shit because inflation is so bad, right? And I think that that's had an impact big time, especially on you, Murph, working your ass off, and then going to the fuel station to fill up your freaking diesel,
like a 40-gallon tank.
Yeah, your paycheck's gone.
So there goes that much.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously there's a mental health impact, right? Going around just for something like that, working your ass off, doing a hard day's work, and then really not feeling like you have as much to show for it as maybe you should.
Well, I mean, it's a huge thing right now. I mean, nowadays, like, if you look at the stats and shit like that, here, even in Utah, like, for a family to survive and not have to live paycheck to paycheck, you got to make like $180,000 for like individual person. Like, I remember even when we were younger, like if your parents made $100,000, you were living fat. Like you had all this shit.
You had a cordless phone. You had a cordless phone.
Yeah, $100,000 nowadays.
To the wall.
You're struggling. Like, well, shit, maybe I'm not going to eat lunch today or whatever it is. Like, it doesn't matter. You have to make some serious money just to be able to not have to work your ass off. Like, you got these regular jobs where you got a job that pays you $70,000, $80,000 a year, and you're still having to work a side job or pick up, random side jobs and stuff like that just to cover your everyday expenses. And then with the cost of everything and, not even going political on it, it's just like the lifestyle is just hard. Like your money doesn't go anywhere. You're paying 50, 60% in taxes when you start looking at, all the different taxes that you're paying. So you make $80,000, you see 40 of it, 30 of it's going to a place to live. You might need a car, food, all this shit. Like you got to hustle. And I mean, I do that. I have to, but it sucks, when I got to go pick up a side job, or I'm going to go dig a hole, or I'm going to go load up 7,000 pounds of dirt in the back of my truck for a job, or whatever it may be. Like all these side jobs that I go pick up just so, I don't have to feel that way. But then at the end of the day, you're just exhausted. And then, you don't get to see your friends. You're not hanging out with people. You're not really doing much socially. Shit, even last year, like the difference of this year to last year, how how many times was I up at the property versus this year, or even more so, like just out in the mountains or whatever. Like I take the summer off a few times recently where I just didn't work at all. You know, a couple of photography gigs here and there, and I was good.
Well, yeah, and like go take the pictures like the one behind you, right? You just kind of venture off and go take a drive, and then catch the sunrise or the sunset. Try and make that print.
We're gonna showcase.
Yeah, there you go.
No Photoshop color correction.
Stuff like that where I can just spend the summer doing a few photos here, maybe go do some family photos or something for a few people, a couple sporting events, and then like I can go spend my time in the mountains and get pictures like that and sell those, and then like I'm good. I didn't have to worry about it. And now it's like I don't even have time to do that because I have to work my ass off on jobs that pay a lot quicker. Like photography's good, but I don't know when somebody wants family photos. I don't know when I'm going to find the right sunset and get it printed just right. Like, and then how long it's going to take for somebody to buy it. Like, it's just, it takes time. And sometimes you don't have that. You just need to be like, well, shit, I got bills coming up. I'm going to go, I'm going to go do this. And then it cuts into anything else.
So do you feel like that it brings a certain amount of isolation? It sounded like what you were saying. It definitely impacts that and makes you feel a little bit isolated. So, I mean, is that true?
Oh yeah, big time. I mean, think about any time recently that you might have hung out with like some friends or something like that, and it comes up like, yeah, I know it's been a while, just surviving or just working away. Like, it's not just me, it's everybody. Like, everybody's working their asses off. So then you're not, you're all day, all night, come home, sleep, do it over again on repeat, and then pick up a side job on the weekend. So now it's like, well, now I'm not hanging out with people either. So then I don't have that peace of mind of like, just, letting things go and just relaxing with my buddies. Like, you don't have that. So as far as like your mental health, like it's destroying people. Everybody's so focused on just, covering their vehicle payment or making sure they're going to have food for their family or stuff like that. You don't have time to just go hang out or just relax. And so then you're just go, go, go. You're isolated. You're always in your mind. You're always working, and you don't have time for it. You don't have time to go meet people. You don't have time to even see the people you know. You don't go see your family. I mean, shit, I don't see my family very much at all. And I used to go hang out with different people all the time. I don't have time for it.
Well, would you say, though, too, I mean, my biggest gripe, too, is that, over the past, 4 years or so, I mean, pretty much ever since COVID, well, I don't know, maybe a year or two after, that the inflation has pretty much killed the middle class.
Oh, it's destroyed it.
And I felt pretty comfortable in the middle class. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have to have fancy cars or boats or anything like that, or like, and do that kind of thing. It'd have been nice, sure, but I didn't need it.
It wasn't
what I
needed,
mean? Yeah, I didn't need it, and felt pretty comfortable. You know what I mean? And then, this all hit, and it was just like, holy fuck. You know what I mean? It was, and it's just been a struggle ever since. And, I really miss that kind of middle class family lifestyle, that, it's barbecues, it's making your own food at home. It's, but it's still being with family and not necessarily living paycheck to paycheck, but not worrying about, if you're going to have grocery money or gas money, you know what I mean? Because it's still there.
You still had some sort of cushion. Oh, shit, the fuel pump went out in my car. I can go pick it up right now.
Well, and you had some sort of
versus like, well, shit, now I've got to wait 3 weeks because I've got to pay this, and then my next paycheck I'm paying this, and then I can go do it.
And now it seems like you can't get ahead enough to even have fucking savings. You know what I mean?
No.
And
there's a thing. I was like something like 87% of Americans don't even have $500 in their savings account. 87%.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, and for this, sake of maybe getting into the conspiracy things a little bit earlier, do you think it's designed that way?
Oh, 100%. I think it is that because, and again, like I'm not trying to be like tinfoil hat. I know whatever.
Yeah, we'll get into that later.
It's not that thing. But if you look at it this way, as a government whole, like there's so many different books out there, so many different things. different countries you can watch. The more you can keep the population down, the more freedoms and rights they're going to give away, the more that they're going to let you run things and control them.
Well,
If everybody's making good money, everybody's doing their thing, able to pay tax, able to go have fun, well, there's no controlling. You can't control them. You give up your freedoms. You give up your freedoms when you're struggling. It's
we have no other choice.
You have no choice. Like, it's either I'm going to feed my family or I'm going to give up my guns. Like, well, shit, fine. Just take the guns so, I'm at least can feed my family, or I'm going to give up my right to free speech or something like that, just so I can make sure my family's getting fed. So it's a control thing. It's 100% by design.
And I think to me, it looks like one of those little, they're just a little nugget, a little nugget to chew on and to chew on and chew on, to where so it doesn't feel like you're relying on the government, you know what I mean? But the more and more and more you look back and you're like, oh my God,
it's all gone.
Totally, 1,000%, relying on the government right now. What
all of a sudden just slaps you in the face? You're like, what the fuck happened?
And creates a dependency.
Yeah, the dependency. Yeah,
because if you do it quick and fast, like, everybody's going to see it. They'll know what's going on. But if you just pull a little piece here, pull a little piece here, pull a little piece here, and then all of a sudden you look and the whole puzzle's gone. Like,
well, it pisses me off because in the past it seems like that the middle class has really kind of been the backbone of the economy. You know what I mean? And
it always is in any free society. That's how it is.
Yeah, I mean, because you've got a ton of blue collar workers, that are doing God's work, out on the railroad, out on the oil fields, doing construction work, doing road work, stuff like that. And those guys are happy to come home to their little family nucleus, you know what I mean, and sit on their back porch and have a beer and bullshit with friends and get ready for the next day, and take that sack lunch that their wife makes for them, for work, and when they leave at 5 o'clock in the morning, and that's that real, Americana type feel, right? That when you get rid of the middle class, all you have is the rich getting richer, and then the poor getting poorer.
Well, and it creates a new middle class. What it does is it's if you go back to when we were younger, $50,000-$60,000, that was a pretty good sack lunch.
Mm-hmm.
When it came down to yearly earnings and everything, and those people that, like you were saying, Rob, that were making over 100K, they were doing real good. They had the cordless phone. And
they were taking their families on vacation to Paris and leaving their kid at the house.
Yeah.
Home Alone style. Like,
yeah, they were doing good. And now it seems like even if you're making that, what did you say, 160K a year, individually or together, then you're still like, we're not going on vacation, but we can buy milk and food.
Right.
We can afford the mortgage this month.
Yeah. So I think it's definitely created isolation in between the middle class and everybody else. Really, it's made the poor poorer, obviously, and then it's starting to really starting to impact the middle class. And where we live we choose to live in Utah, right? And at least 3 of us, and the taxes in Utah are absolutely outrageous.
Yeah,
I mean, it's for a little over 4.5%, just regular tax rate, plus a 6.5% or it went up. My apologies. 6.1% sales tax rate. So you're looking at a pretty hefty 8%. Tax.
Yeah. And you look at your income tax of 20 to 30%. Then you look at, you buy something and you pay taxes on it, and then you have to register it and pay taxes on it. And then at the end of the day, like, everything, it's not that much taxes. But if you look into the fact of your sales tax, your income tax, your fuel tax, your property tax, all these different taxes that you're paying, out of $100, 50 to 60 of that is going to taxes.
Yeah, and that same dollar is just getting taxed over and over and over and over.
This is in a country that we did the Boston Tea Party over a 2% tax.
Yeah,
I mean,
And
But
I'm
it's
trying
got that little thing like what Bo was saying is it's like it's just a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here, so you don't realize it until now you're looking at it and you're like, holy fuck, we're paying how much in taxes?
yeah, well, and I don't understand. We're paying a road tax, right, for fuel, but I still have to pay to register my fucking my car and
For those same roads they don't ever fix.
right. And I'd almost I'd almost agree to no, I don't. You don't have to pay a car registration anymore if your car is under a certain weight.
Yeah.
Because if your car's under a certain weight, the impact to the road is going to be a lot lower. If you're driving a diesel, yeah, maybe you should pay a little bit. If you're driving a Tesla, definitely fucking paying, because most of these Teslas are heavier than my fucking 3/4 ton truck.
I mean, look at just even when you go get fuel, when they got the little sticker on every pump about how much money you're paying in taxes per gallon, which is going to state and federal and all this shit, and it's like, so they're spending that money to redo Bang It or Highway 6 different fucking times because they can't decide which way they want to do it.
You know
what I mean? Like, first they're going to do this weird fucking thing where you got to go onto the wrong side of the road and then turn, and then now they're going to do the bridges, and like they keep redoing it and change the plan. It's like, are you guys really budgeting that shit well? Or even the federal, like when you look at it, like how much they're paying for Humvees, you know that they pay like $200,000 per Humvee, and that's not even an up armor.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Yeah,
$200,000. If you look it up for the actual for the military to go buy a new Humvee, the government's paying $200,000 per Humvee, and that's not even an up armored Humvee. That's that shit ass fucking. You run that J8 bullshit, fucking
just right
103 horsepower, and you're paying $200,000 for
single axle over a hill.
You know what else I could buy for $200,000? I can go get you fucking 10 different fucking F-150s for that.
Yeah, well, it's funny. You bring that up, and it reminded me of a story that we're going to have to talk about a little bit later, involving the Humvees. But no, so it'll be fun. It's in a spooky. So yeah, big time. So it is created a bigger separation between the country, and it has created more isolation, I think, to people, because people have to stay home. People can't socialize. It's just like during COVID when they shut down churches and everything else. Then people started to lose their fucking mind.
Mm-hmm.
But they're just trying to separate people more and more and more. And I think it's important that people continue to fight, especially when it comes to their mental health, and stay doing those activities with friends. I mean, you don't have to go on these like big extravagant vacations and stuff like that. I mean, we're just as well hanging out in the backyard drinking. Or having a barbecue.
Yeah.
But just invite people over, come over, you spend a little bit of money on food and fuel, and you're good.
Yeah, well, and I think it's an important thing, right? That people, because of what's going on, it's a lot harder for them to do. But I think it's important that people still get together, even if it's like, dude, hey, let's all pitch in on whatever to go cook and pitch in on beer. You get 4 or 5 people together, and all of a sudden the cost goes back to what it used to fucking be.
Yeah, no shit. And one person could be like, "Oh yeah, I got it all."
Yeah.
Now you can't.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, it's like I think that's important to do, and I think that maybe people are embarrassed to say, "Hey, like let's go in on it, let's pitch," because I think it kind of goes back to finding your tribe and finding your people.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, if you don't feel comfortable enough to be like, hey, like I don't have the money, but I got like $10 towards like some burgers and dogs or something like that, just something easy like burger, dogs, and beer. Like, again, like let's get some people together, and after you get 5-10 people together, all of a sudden that $10 you're having a hell of a time.
Yeah,
and you guys have gotten pretty well stocked up for the night.
Yeah, that's a hell of a point. And to piggyback on that, it's finding the right people to be around that are kind of not necessarily, they might not be in your same boat, but at the same time they're sympathetic to that. You know what I mean? And just say, hey man, I can grab the beer. You guys grab everything else, man. I'll grab a couple 30s and we'll be off to the races. You know what I mean? Or you're going to the lake or something like that, and just chip on different, your lake fee, your boat fee, the registration fee, or something like that, where people are like, hell yeah, go ahead, pick that up, baby. We'll have a great time. And the importance of having those kind of people around you to just kind of, don't be embarrassed to do it. And
I think this goes back to kind of like why it's by design is a lot of times like you're working your ass off and then you're working your side job and you're doing all this shit and then you need to sleep. It's like they're intentionally making it so you can't have that peace of mind to go hang out with your friends. Like you don't have the time to do it because you're worried about everything else.
Well, you don't even have the energy to think about it, right? Well,
exactly. Like your only focus is like, I got to make sure I got food, that my lights are on, that I got gas to get to work. And so it's not even that, hey, we can chip in and do this with our buddies. I mean, maybe once every month or two, you might be able to, if you're lucky, but for the most part, you're working your ass off and you're busting your ass and you're doing all this shit. You don't have time to do that. And that's where it's by design is. I mean, look at the Marine Corps. Fucking Marine Corps was founded in Tongue Tavern. It was founded in a bar.
Right.
And they don't want that again. They don't want the people to get together and realize, look, fuck, there's all this divide in the country, but really it's actually this shit ass main media. And we all see eye to eye. Let's do something about it. They don't want that. They don't want the uprise. They don't want the hate. So they're going to do everything they can to keep everybody separated and keep everything. So you're just struggling to even go day to day before you can even think about that. Like,
what about this, Rob? Is that being single? It's harder for us, especially with children. Dude,
I was about to propose to you so we can get a house together.
I know.
We can have some real nice stuff,
dude. That was good. That's exactly my point. So, have you ever been tempted to get into a relationship that wasn't really good for you? You knew this person's really not my person, or else
it's called a contract marriage is what it's called.
Or there was some shit in the past that it's like, well, maybe we can work this out, but I don't know, maybe it's a little toxic. Have you ever been tempted into getting into a relationship like that just to take the weight off? You know what I mean? The mortgage weight off,
I'd say in the past, I have. Nowadays, no. Like, I'm at that point in life. Like, I'll just fucking take the camper and go disappear. I got a place to go put it.
Yeah.
I'll go chop up some wood for payment or fucking do some fucking property work, whatever need to be, like, and just disappear and be better off that way. Like, I think because I've gone through some pretty shitty relationships in the past, like, I mean, y'all know I'm lucky to make it 2 months with somebody, and it's like, well, where'd that one go? I don't know.
That's usually
it's just for me personally, and I know a lot of it's because I'm a difficult person. Like everybody that knows me knows, like I'm hard headed. I'm built in my ways. Like ain't teaching this old dog new tricks, and I don't put up with the bullshit. Is the main part, and there's so much bullshit, especially like we were talking, the social media and the internet and all that. Like I just don't put up with it. I start seeing signs like, "Bye, Felicia, get the fuck out."
Well, that's kind of the same
trust issues
I feel too. I feel like I'd rather struggle now if I have to than to open myself up to something like that. That's just
exactly.
But
have somebody like if I fuck up on my own, then it is what it is.
Right.
I have a fallback. I've got a fucking massive camper that if I really needed to go live in my damn camper, I could.
Right.
Truck to pull it. I can go park it in fucking the South 40 at some guy's house or out in Cedar Fort where I normally keep it. Like they would let me come put it out there any day of the week if I wanted to. And
you see it out there. And a lot of people's are doing that. They're getting into shitty relationships and whatever just to take a little bit of the weight off, a little of the economic weight off, and then you're ending up with DV charges and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's just
right. Like I just slapped a hoe because she fucking was screwing around some dude. And I'm going to jail. I don't have to worry about rent no more. I got that covered for the next 5 to 10 years.
I got my 3 squares covered.
Yeah.
A little 2-man cell hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. We got off the little rails there a little bit, but at the same time, it's all relative. These are all things you think about.
How it's designed.
These are all the things that we contemplate on this little fucking experiment that I think they're doing to us. You know what I mean?
What's that saying? You'll own nothing and be happy about it.
Yeah, and that was that Warren Buffett or
yeah,
it wasn't Warren Buffett. It was one of the
some rich fucking
one of the Who
piece of shit. Yeah,
it was one of the Who fuckers.
but
Not the band.
that's literally what they're trying to do. Like you're gonna live in their housing, but what they fail to see what will happen. You have all these inventions. Like if you look at everything that America does, everything that America has produced, everything that's come from us over the last 100 years is because you have that ability of like, if I bust my ass off and I come up with this, I'm going to make some money. I can, be spending time with my family. So if you take that away, no, you're not going to have that creativity. You're not going to have that ingenuity. You're not going to have that mindset. You're going to have people that are, I don't give a fuck. I'm not doing shit. Why should I go bust my ass off and use my mind and create this thing so I don't see shit for it? So then it's literally going to put technology to a standstill. Nobody's going to come with that shit. You're not going to have the Elon Musks that are going to, come out and just design this fucking crazy, or SpaceX, or, all this shit. You won't have it because there's no benefit to it.
Yeah, well, and what it creates is you brought up the truck and the trailer to pull it, but those were all basically pre-COVID type things that you were able to get before then.
Yeah.
So you have this whole swath of people throughout the country that weren't in a position to do any of that before, right? Yeah. And now they're even in less of a position to do something like that, where they could set themselves up for success in the future, or set themselves up for success now, because they're being taxed and just getting their ass kicked by, having to work too much and really not have time to worry about or think about anything else. And those are the people that, are that big, middle class, I think. And even lower than middle class sometimes, and there's really no way out. So the mental strain that puts on people, puts on men, because you're trying to go out and you're trying to work your ass off and provide for your family. Because even though you guys aren't married, you guys are still going out and working and putting forth the effort to take care of your family. Right. You still have to take care of your kids.
Still taking care of the kids, still paying the bills, the medical shit that comes up, all the random shit to have kids.
Yeah. Just because the marriage went away doesn't mean the kids did. Right. And, of course, there's people out there that, are not taking care of their kids, which, that's a whole different story, and you should probably do better. But, the mental strain that puts on people, and, puts on, veterans and civilians, or people that were never in, alike, it's unimaginable. Just thinking that there's not going to be a way out.
Yeah, that in itself that can be debilitating, man. Not like feeling like there's no way out. And these guys that are working OT, double shifts, triple shifts, and then trying to cash in their vacation because they need the extra cash, and not taking their vacations, and you know what I mean?
And just selling their vacation days back for a bigger paycheck.
Yeah, working weekends, and then selling off their toys and stuff like that. It's kind of like you get in that mode where there's no way out, dude. And I was in it like about 6 months ago, and that shit, man, that fucked with me hardcore. When you have that feeling with there's no way out, all these bills are, they're piling on you. The kids are sick, your truck's broke down, like your main transportation. I got to spend money on this. I got to spend money on this, and you feel like you're never going to get out of that hole, man. That's hard, especially for the breadwinner. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you've always been the breadwinner. You've always been the reliable one. And you got the little ones. You know what I mean? They rely on you 100%. And they don't know, what you're going through inside. And you see those commercials or whatever where the guy he just goes and sits on the porch and, cracks a beer and just takes a breath for a minute. And it's like, you'll never know what's going on inside this guy's head. You know what I mean?
Well, we need more beer commercials.
For real.
You know?
Like,
come back.
but the big thing is, I mean, and you guys know, very few people know that, like where I've been at. I work in an industry that's slow 6 months out of the year. I work with fireplaces in Utah.
That's rough.
You know, you got 6 months where you're crazy busy, you're making a ton of money, and then all of a sudden it kind of coasts down and shit like that. And typically it's like, you know what, you can build up a cushion and you're good for the summertime, do what you want. And then it's, fuck, dude, I've been doing side jobs, I've been busting my ass, and you got to do it with a front as a man. Like you can't, you know, you guys as my brothers, you guys know what's going on, but
Right.
that most people don't even see it because you can't show that weakness. Like, oh, it's like, oh, I'm struggling, I'm failing, so now I'm weak. You can't show that to most people. So instead, like, you just kind of ghost everybody because you're working your ass off and you're doing all these side jobs and picking up shit or doing whatever you need to do. And I'm lucky enough that, you know, I'm one of those jack of many trades or whatever the hell it is, like expert at nothing, but I know every type of field out there. So I can go do whatever the hell I need to do. Not everybody's in that because of social media and because of the internet and stuff like that. Like, nobody can go and change their damn tire anymore. Nobody will go change their fuel pump in their car. Or nobody knows how to, like, oh shit, I've got a broken window. How do I replace this? Or my sprinklers are broken. Like, the list goes on that so many of your typical, like, men don't know this anymore. I mean, my 16-year-old daughter knows how to do more of this shit than most men nowadays do.
Than her boyfriend.
Right. And it's like, so because that's gone, because everything's a desk job or everything's, you know, on online or whatever, nobody's really doing the industrial type work or that true blue collar work. And if they do, it's only because they had nothing else and they're trying to learn it, and they're, you know, in their mid 30s or 40s, like trying to learn a whole new trade because
and
they need to make money.
These kids think they can, they see a YouTuber, they know their favorite YouTuber, they know their favorite IG, you know, influencer and all that, and they think that they can make that a career like in a snap. You know what I mean? And
or video games, even same concept.
Yeah, video games.
That shit blows me away.
But you
Kids
know,
just watching other kids play video games.
yeah,
Right.
it's stupid. But you know that is what they don't know is that is a very small percentage of people. You know what I mean? And those aren't,
Right.
you know, that's not a real career path to pursue.
Well, in our days, I think it was, you know, the NFL or the NBA or the MLB. Like,
Yeah, we looked at
all
that.
these kids, you had those few that were like, no, I'm just going to be a pro, which, you know, they were good and they were good at that, but they didn't learn anything else. But then you had that rude awakening of that's actually a very, very small percentage of people that succeed in that, which you actually have to be damn good to do it. So you're at least putting in the work and the time and all that to something there. Nowadays, it's like, well, I'm just going to open up this fucking thing that I bought at the store every day and become YouTube famous. And so they're like, they don't even try to learn anything that they can gain from it.
Oh, they learn lots of cool dances.
Oh, fuck.
You know, they're doing some dances. Like,
hey, you know what?
You know,
I just went and watched the new Deadpool movie, and they killed that bye 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 dance. So now all you see all over social media is that new NSYNC dance from the 90s.
Well, me and Al were talking about last week that you know, these kids, most of those people go viral off of something that they weren't even planning on going viral off of, and like
the Hot chick.
Yeah, it was completely random.
Yeah,
you know,
now she's made $1 million. I'm trying to figure that shit out.
Yeah, and you know, but to chase that dragon and chase that high again is, I mean, they'll go absolutely insane trying to do that because you never know what's going to go viral. You never know what's going to hit, and to try to like chase that feeling again, I mean, would drive some people insane, you know?
Oh, yeah. Well, and that's the thing is like, she's probably never going to do something that goes viral like that again.
Never.
Right.
And I'm slightly jealous because we talk about blowjobs all the time, but we haven't gone viral. I haven't made $1 million.
Right. We didn't get no fucking $1 million fucking go
like
open for these people.
Yeah. Like I want to see my percentages. But
the problem
it's not happening.
Is you've got these people that never really know anything, never really done anything. All of a sudden they make all this money and it's gone within the first year. And then they have shit to show for it, but now they owe a shit ton of taxes on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they're struggling. They're right back in the same place. Like it's such this big jump. And then like, you know, you have your regular level here, but because of the tank is so far down, now you're struggling just to get back up to normalcy.
Well, and with that whole thing, it's the highs and lows. You know, the highs and the peaks and the dips that you can't control. You know, and the lows are a lot lower than the highs are going to be. You know what I mean? Because you catch that high and it only lasts for a few minutes, and then
your highs weren't very high, and you don't have very many of them. But the lows are fucking so much further down.
Yeah, they're deep valleys, my friend.
Yeah, you know, like going back to the Hawk Tour girl, I'll give it to her 100%. She capitalized on that tenfold.
Oh yeah. I mean, if I can find me my own personal Hawk Tour chick, I'll be happy for a while.
I want somebody to pay me $30,000 to show up someplace.
Yeah,
like that's her show up fee basically. It's $30,000. I'm like, fuck, dude.
You know what was badass about her is like she waited like what was it, like 3 weeks or something like that?
Anything. Yeah.
Like she
everybody was searching for her.
It's because she was like lawyering up and getting like financial advice.
Exactly.
She was putting a fucking team together.
Like, oh fuck. At least she didn't just jump out, but that made it like extended it for her a little bit. Is, you know, she the where the hell she at? Who is she?
Yeah, it did.
The search for her, like it just fed and all of a sudden they found her.
Yeah.
But then she opens a show and like she makes some jokes and it's just fucking silent.
And she's already got swag made and all kinds of shit, dude.
Yeah, she went into it, man. She came out on top for sure. Like I'm gonna start like hiring you guys to like show up to like hotels and events with me, just as like private security. And then when I get out of the car, they're just gonna be like, "Oh fuck, this guy must be." Oh man, I think that's that guy. Just start making up lies.
Good plan, dude. Yeah,
dude. I think it could work. I think it could work.
We'll get the camera shit. We'll have BVMC ties, black suit. You'll be in your fucking gear, and we'll just like nobody's gonna come here. We'll go to a random club. We'll get the VIP section.
Yeah.
You just get there with sunglasses on.
Yeah,
we'll have. I got the fucking ear mics and everything. I got it all.
I think it'll be good. I think we can make that work. You know, like have some of our friends that are females be like, "Oh yeah, it's those guys. It's those guys." You know,
gosh, it's a bearded Viking guy.
Yeah, I think we could probably figure this out. We can make this work, guys.
We could definitely make it work.
Look, I have faith.
I mean, you can't be mad at us for having good ideas.
Right? I got the earpieces already. I'm ready to go. I got 4 radios, earpieces. We got a whole security system set up already.
We could at least jackass it for. I think we could pull that out for 6 months or a year or something like that.
Oh, guaranteed. And then BVMC is going to go through the roof. And ain't nobody gonna know why. They're just gonna see these random videos of this dude getting walked around security.
Is that the booze guys?
Yeah, we'll have to go to the places that like that are gonna stock our mead. You know what I mean? So we can just order. We could get bottle service. You know what I mean, of our mead at our table.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good.
That'd be super dope.
Yeah, so now we can't actually air this episode because our whole script is going to be out there online for success. You know.
Oh no, we can still air it. We got like 2 people watching. I'm one of them.
Dude, you got the balls in the shaft of editing right here, bro.
Right. Yeah, that's a big swath to edit out there.
I'll make some magic.
But so the thing is everybody that watches that they're going to be on board with it.
Oh, they'll laugh their asses off. It'll be it'll be the best troll.
They'll be out there filming it because
they're going to be the only ones that know because nobody watches.
Give them the shout out like, "Hey, we're going
people
here."
That watch us are going to be the only ones that know.
Oh yeah,
exactly. We'll give them the shout out like, "Hey, we're going here this night. Show up with your cameras. I'll lend out some of my photography cameras, the big lenses. You're gonna have people out there looking like paparazzi and shit.
That's gonna be good.
Go to the roof.
See, I think we got a working idea for success right here.
Yeah, the ruse is in.
You don't even need to spit on that thing.
No.
See, the thing is like
we can microphone on the left is really fucking up in here.
We can even tell them right now that we're going to pull a ruse on them, and nobody's going to know until they look back at episode 57. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wouldn't know. For how simple-minded people are, they'll watch it, pay attention, and then like a week later, it's fucking squirrel.
Right.
I think I saw something about this, but I don't remember.
We're gonna have to really try this, guys. We're gonna have to.
I'm down. I'm telling you, I got the radios, I got the mics, I got
the fucking command center,
dude. If you knew what I had in this
command center,
Like, this is the house that, like, one of two things that happens. If they show up, it's going to be fucking world news of a fucking massive gunfight. Or if for some reason the house catches fire, it's going to be national news because with all the other shit that I have in this house, it's going to blow up the whole neighborhood and you're going to have a fucking million rounds going off
It's going to be like a firework display.
Yeah.
Holy shit, it's fireworks in
fucking
December.
shit.
So we do have a couple more topics, and one of them I think is it's pretty funny, but it's real, right? So can we still be friends after the election? You know, there's so many people in the country.
I'll let
so
you
divided.
guys give your piece on that before I throw out my rant.
All right, so Rob's going last. All right, so
Yeah.
So there's so many relationships that are totally just torpedoed around election season.
Oh my God.
Every 4 years, we go through this cycle, and it's funny, but it's not funny, right? Because it's social media is what's used to do it, right? And you're basically just trolling each other, and nobody can agree on anything. But if you take the social media aspect out of it, and you get people in the same room or in the same area, and you're bullshitting, a lot of people agree on almost everything or a lot of the same big things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they don't realize what the people that they're watching on the news or their candidate or anything else like that is going to do or has said they're going to do. So I think it's pretty funny that relationships end for friends that have been friends for at least 4 years, right?
Yeah.
They're like, what? You're a Democrat or you're a Republican or you're voting for so and so or whatever, and then all of a sudden it's like, nope.
You like the orange guy?
Yeah, we can't be friends anymore. Like, yeah, he's good at golf. I like golf.
Yeah.
But just what do you think? Like, how many relationships have been terminated during the election season since social media has been alive and well?
I am in the middle of a relationship terminating because of it, and it's so bad, dude. I'm like, what? We can agree to disagree, and this person was like, agree to disagree. We can agree to disagree about pizza toppings. This is real world shit. I'm like, you're not going to bend me, and obviously I'm not going to bend you. I mean, if you really think that Kamala is going to be the savior of the Democratic race, then you're up in the night. And, maybe if there was somebody in there worth a damn that we might be afraid of, you know what I mean, come election time, then I'd say, well, you got a chance. I don't know. We might have to just take this one in the nuts. But, it's ridiculous. You know what I mean? And this person they are 100%, they're 100%, backing her, her thoughts against the gays and all that kind of stuff. And like we've said before, got no problem with the gays. Just keep it out of my fucking living room. That's all it is. And don't indoctrinate my children. And you can do whatever you want to do behind doors. It doesn't matter to me. Right. Live great and blah, blah, blah. But, and then we'll talk about the issues, and and all she wants to do is character bash, because that's all anyone can do with Trump is character bash. And I'm like, okay, well, tell me what her stance is on this. Tell me what her stance is on that. Tell me what her stance is on this. And they have no idea.
Listen, dude, I'm still trying to figure out whether she's Indian or whether she's
right.
I'm still trying to figure that out.
Can't even decide this.
Depends on the day.
Damn race, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, and let alone the damn issues.
And the fact that they're playing it to where she has to be a certain race, that now she has to be.
Well, right off that bat, that shows that it's shit.
Yeah.
If you're basing off of, if you're bringing somebody in solely off of the color of their skin, on its own is racist as it is. It shouldn't matter. You need the best person for the job.
Yeah.
And
if you look at candidate A versus candidate B, one of them has 22-something thousand employees, billion-dollar companies, has ran things successfully. School he went to was #1 in that classification of business in the entire country, versus somebody that's literally never owned their own thing, never ran a business, never had people employed for
It
them.
was
Like
Montel's slam piece, right?
Right. Why would you, if you take color aside, which we should have fucking stopped doing 100 years ago anyways, because it doesn't fucking matter. It's based off your character and what you could bring to the table.
Well, and you take
and when you bring it to the table that you can run billions and billions of dollar businesses successfully, and who gives a fuck if you say some mean shit? I don't give a fuck about that. I'd rather have mean tweets to be able to afford to fill up my gas tank.
You earned it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you made billions of dollars. You can say some mean shit. I don't give a fuck. Like, you're not gonna hurt my feelings because, you know, even if he said something about me, I'd be like, well, that's cool. I'm on his radar.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm on his radar.
Yeah. Hey, you wanna,
but I can still afford my food and gas.
Yeah, you want to go hang out after? Like, you know how many people say mean shit? I don't fucking care.
Well,
all
the time.
Well, that's kind of the thing. Like,
the thing is, like, if you want a female president, like, who cares? Have a female president. You know what? If Ivanka runs after this 4, she'll get voted in. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, you just have to have somebody that isn't like
a piece of shit.
Yeah, somebody that's done it, that's ran it.
Somebody who's worth a damn. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the thing. Like, if they put up, or even if the red side put up a female candidate, you know what I mean? It's not about race. It's not about gender. You know what I mean? If you put up a female candidate and she's fucking the best person out there for the job, she's got my vote. You know what I mean?
Yeah, locked on. It's like, if you want the moderate guy, go for Kennedy.
Yeah. I don't give a fuck your race, your gender, your fucking sexual preference. None of that shit matters. If Big Mike wants to run, I truly don't give a fuck who it is. If you have the experience and the knowledge and you have the right direction for the country, I don't give a fuck what is in your pants or fucking what color you are. It doesn't matter to me. Run the fucking country. Bring us back to where we can afford shit, where we can go hang out, where we can be a fucking free country again. That's all that matters. So the rest of the shit doesn't matter to me.
So I think what you guys are saying is that you're going to lose some friends during the election.
No, well, here's my thing on it.
Oh, yes, we're losing.
No, well, here's my thing on it. Now it's my turn because y'all went. No. That was just following off of what you guys
okay. All right, so we're going out to our field course.
Now it's getting serious. Yeah,
Jamie, can you weigh in?
Here's the issue with it. The divide isn't there as much as everybody makes it out to be.
No, not at all. I think
the divide is
the
there.
meter proves that
100%
on a daily basis.
The divide is there by design. So they can still control their shit and make their billions of dollars off of us while we work our ass off. They want the divide there, so they don't realize we can go to any part of the country and have a conversation in person with somebody. Like, no, we actually fucking pretty much have the same views. We want the same shit. We don't want to pay taxes as much as we do. We want to be able to go hang out with people. We want to be able to fucking spend our money where we want to spend it. Like, the divide is there intentionally. Like, if you look at that $200 million that some candidate recently got within a week or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah, tell me that was organic.
Follow the paperwork on that. You know that that's like people that might have invested like maybe once or twice, and then they're like in their 70s or 80s, and now all of a sudden they've done like in the last year 23,000 fucking individual fucking investments to Act Blue, where you literally like it's like if the paper trail's there, like there's people that they would have to invest 10 times a day for a year straight to hit those numbers. And then there's a company that's going out and talking to people like, well, no, I think I sent them like $100 a couple times. Like it's all money management movement. It's all fucking,
they're just using people.
It's the illusion of I'm going to do it here. I'm going to do it there. It's solely to create that divide. And in this instance, it's to create that subject of, well, the mass is going this way, clearly. Like, they gave her all this money. So there's people that don't pay attention, that really just don't give a fuck because they don't want to deal with the politics and they don't want to lose friends over it. Well, all of a sudden, we got 67 people. 67% of this $200 million is from people that have never donated before is donating. Maybe there's a reason for it. I'm just going to vote that way. Well, it's 100% for the divide.
I think the education of it's very important because you have a lot of these college kids that they're getting indoctrinated a certain way, but they're not. We all know that the 18-year-old, 19-year-old brain does not work fucking correctly.
No, I've been there.
I mean, we
It was
joined
not-
the Marine Corps, right? So the brain
Right.
did not work correctly. Okay.
No.
Yeah, I chose Marine Corps over baseball. So clearly, Fire A was not meeting Fire B in the middle.
No,
right?
there's a big divide in the brain.
Yeah. So,
Shit hadn't grown yet.
So clearly, teenagers are fucking dumb. Like, we've established that. But the indoctrination that they're going through in some of these schools, they're not able to see the big picture. They're not able to see that when they get out of school, they're going to be broke. They're not going to be able to pay off this debt.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no reason why college should be as expensive as it is right now. And one of the cool things that I just found out, and I'll plug it, is Jordan Peterson. I think most of us know who Jordan Peterson is. He's starting a college, and they're doing a college with certifications and stuff like that. It's like $1,500 a year. If you start now, it's like $400, and they're working on getting it accredited and everything.
Shit,
wild.
I'm about to go to college.
Right.
Yeah, I'm about to go back to college.
Yeah, that's what I was saying too. I was like, holy shit! Like, looking at the courses and everything like that, they're eliminating all the stupid classes that you don't have to do for that trade. And they say it's for a well-rounded student and a well-rounded whatever. But you can't tell me 50 years ago that everybody had to go all through these dumb classes that didn't mean anything towards their trade. Yeah, English, arithmetic, everything like that, it's very important. But going through, underwater basket weaving, as VIKO would say, is not an important class that you should have to take.
I'll give you
a doctor.
I'll give you a prime example. Is I started going to school for computers. I've always naturally been great with computers. My uncles taught me my own shit. I built my own computer as far as like physical parts and everything when I was 12 years old. I used to run a server in I have another one actually. I'm using it as a footrest right now that I have a server. It's 18 terabytes. I got 12 different virtual computers running on it that are all running their own background shit. Like, I have a lot of shit that I know about computers. I started going to full school for it, and I took a college course in high school, and the class was like, well, this is where the on button is. You click this, and this is what the keyboard does, and it was the most basic shit. And it's like, any industry out there is going to adapt and grow. Computers is one of the fastest.
What is so?
And when you go to a class for computers, like nowadays, look where computers are. It's all on your phones. It's everywhere. Like, the technology is everywhere. And then you go to this, you try to get your education in it, and they're teaching you shit from 20 fucking years ago. It does you no good. You need to learn the shit today.
Well, and the thing that's kind of disheartening too is, like, when I was going through college, is they make you take a couple classes, a couple critical thinking classes is what they're called. It's like critical thinking 101 and then like fucking 1020 or whatever the fuck. And it's like, you're teaching people common sense. You are teaching people, this is all these classes are about, is common sense.
Yeah.
And being able to think about a situation before you act or do anything like that. And like, I'm on like my 5th keyboard because of critical thinking. And I figure if I break the keyboard, then I'm not going to type back in an email. I'm going to have to go buy a new keyboard. And by then I'm cooled down enough to type a professional.
So what you're saying is the classes didn't work.
What I'm saying is the federal government is not buying the keyboards anymore. So that's the big picture here. So,
all the story.
That's my common sense. If I break the keyboard, then I can't respond back angrily because, speak to text just isn't what it is or what it should be by now.
I did not mean duck.
Yeah, exactly. And, sometimes the keys don't go back on. So it's like monkey doesn't go back in a box, right? And so these kids are going through these classes and they're indoctrinated to vote a certain way or to think a certain way, but they're not able to get outside the box and realize what's really going to impact them once those school doors close and they're out in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
And that's huge.
Yeah, because they're protected by those school doors. They're protected by their little dormitory, and their professors who say that they have the best interest at heart, and they really don't. Because, like you said, you get out in the real world, and it's 180, man. It's
Yeah.
realize.
When was the last time they taught you how? They don't teach you how to do anything in school anymore.
Well,
Nothing about the real world.
I
Nothing about
had
business,
one
nothing
really
about
good
growth.
Excel class,
Like
but you just
they don't
Google
even teach
how
that
to
shit.
use it.
So then you have these kids that are coming out of school that are taking underwater basket weaving and fucking how to dance 101 and
Gender
fucking
studies.
TikToks 201 and shit like that. Gender
You know what?
study.
That's what blows me away too. For as many kids that have taken gender studies, they still haven't figured fucking anything out or
But
figured out.
They're not
what
teaching
gender
the
they
shit that matters. They don't teach you how to create a business. They don't teach you how to file your taxes. They don't teach you the shit that matters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
None of that's there.
Teach them how to balance a check. Like what happened to what was it? It wasn't civics. It was
Home economics.
home ec. Yeah,
Yeah.
home ec. That's what it was.
They taught you cooking skills, the balancing your checkbook, like the basic shit that you need to like
Dude,
the start of your common sense.
you know how many dates I got because I was a good cook in home ec?
That was
dude?
one of the only classes I ever went to was home ec and cooking.
You pick
what
up
I'm
so
talking
many
about.
chicks in home ec, bro.
Only dude in the
Tell
class.
them.
No reason why.
Win-win.
Watch out.
The chicks don't want to eat the food, so you get plenty of food, and you're in a class full of chicks. Like it's a fucking win-win.
Yeah, if you're in high school and you're not taking home ec, you're an idiot. So they're getting out. They're unable to pay their bills. They're living with their mom and dad, and so this is kind of funny because this is a reverse on maybe kicking my kid out when he turns 18. Oh, there it is. He was
man, he killed it.
Oh, he's gonna get even louder. So I have had a reversal because it made too much sense in this day and age, and I don't even remember who the fuck said it, and I'm gonna paraphrase it, but no, you definitely didn't say
Our
it.
field correspondent.
Yeah, our field correspondent Murph. But they said it's stupid to kick your kids out when they're 18. It's better that they get jobs and you basically expand your household and have your kids living there, because that's what they want. Is they want your kids out in society and isolated, living in apartments, living in places that they can't afford because they wanted to get away from mom and dad and be grown-ups. But it really makes no sense. It makes more sense to fucking just sell your shit and buy a compound where everybody can live there, because then you're paying one tax.
Yeah.
Not 3 taxes. You're basically not creating more. They're still taxpayers because they still get taxed on their income, but you're not contributing more and more and more to the tax base.
Mm-hmm.
And it started ringing a bell, because if you go back to these old families that run the country, most of them, they have these homes and trusts and everything like that. Then it's all under one trust, and it's one tax. It's not a shit ton of taxes. So these families that are having 5 kids, 4 kids, it makes more sense to live in a big ass compound where everybody can build their houses and pay one tax on the property than multiple taxes as they're living in an apartment struggling to fucking make ends meet and buy groceries and put gas in their car and everything else. So I kind of had like a little turn on my axis. Not really come to Jesus. It wasn't that intense, but it was kind of more a turn on the axis.
Come to Jesus.
Right? It was like, that makes a lot of sense. Maybe it's just build more houses in one spot and pay one tax, and then they can
property
do
for
the fuck
one lot property of 10 acres versus 10 different fucking homes that you're paying taxes on.
Exactly. And if your kids are going out and they're doing a good job at their jobs, or they're going out there, they're not just sitting in the fucking basement eating Cheetos. That's one thing.
Right.
Get them the fuck out. But if they're actually productive members of society, doing jobs, working hard, making their own money, then it makes sense. One big property, build a house there, or build them a house there, and have the whole thing in a trust. And that started making the wheels turn in my head, at least.
Well,
I was like, oh.
And nowadays, if you think about it, kids aren't getting taught that shit. Kids aren't being taught the necessities. Then all of a sudden people are like, oh, well, they're 18, get them the fuck out of here. So now they're learning from the wrong ways of doing things.
Mhm.
Then it's going to be 6 to 10 years down the road, and all of a sudden they're back living with you, and now you're dealing with a fucking idiot that thinks that they're right because they learned something on the fucking streets from some fucking moron. It's like, nah, well, let's fix this now. Versus where you just keep them there and like, hey, look, this is what you need to do. This is tax season. This is what we're going to do. This is your job. This is your savings. You're going to put money away for this. You're going to work for this. We can teach them the shit that needs to know because nobody's teaching that anymore by design.
Yeah, this is how this needs to work. And when I'm dirt, you will know how to run all this.
Yep.
Because I mean, even take for instance, the vacation that we went to Nashville, Andrew Jackson's estate. They called it the estate, right? Not the plantation, even though it was a plantation, because it's a dirty word in the South, right? The whole family lived there forever. Everybody died in that house. It was part of that family for generations.
Thousands of years that's been the case.
Right. So now, it made perfect sense. We're creating more taxpayers. We're creating a bigger tax base when really we don't have to do that. We just have to be able to be in a financial situation where you can buy that land and build on that land.
Yep.
And that makes a whole lot more sense to me.
Yeah.
And I think colleges like what Jordan Peterson's going to do is going to help set up people a whole lot better than a regular college or regular institution. I think that by the time we're in our 60s, 70s, he'll be looked at as a philosopher in this modern day.
The problem that I see with that is like your development starts a lot earlier, and they need to start teaching this earlier in life. That's definitely a huge step forward by far from where we've been and the things that we've been doing as a country or as just people in general, humanity, society. Like that's definitely a huge step forward, but it needs to be something that started early. Like, young kids, hey, the allowances, spending money, you want to go buy something, okay, you're going to earn it. Like that's the shit that needs to be taught in schools on top of at your house. Like, because everybody knows as a kid, you don't give a fuck what your parents say. I don't give a fuck. No, they're wrong. They're my parents. They're wrong. They're assholes. They're just being mean. Versus if you've got teachers in school that are guiding you down the same paths that you're trying to guide your own kids, and it's something you can follow through. That's why a lot of like people that are well off and have the ability to put their kids in these special schools where they can actually learn this shit, and you have that support system of the school is teaching them the same thing you want them to learn at a young age, and then you can build on it and grow on it, and then by the time they get to that college age where they're going to they're not going to this fucking Ivy school that really is just a piece of paper that you spent $500,000 on, that you think you know all this shit, but really all you learned was that you're better than people even though you really aren't.
Well, and so we're in an advantage now, or a disadvantage, the way you look at it, at our ages, right? Because we can start doing these steps for our kids and for that younger generation now because we understand it a little bit. And it's going to be bumps and bruises along the way for us to get started because we weren't taught that from a young age, right? So we can figure it out now so they don't have to. But that takes people that are our age setting it up for their kids now so they don't have to learn it the hard way later. That way it can be explained to them and broken down Barney style on how all this shit works.
Right.
But on that, let's take a break. Let's get a word from our sponsors.
Yes.
Oh, speaking of sponsors, buy your shirts, Double Dog Inc. Fuck these guys. The MERF for details. You can get a hold of me through any of these assholes on here with me. Now back to the sponsors.
Hey, meatheads, meat maidens, beardos, and everyone in between. The boat here for the Bearded Viking, reminding you that our mead is the new go-to drink for all occasions. Poured out of the fridge, over ice, in a cocktail, in a slushie, or even heated up on a chilly night to warm up. Any way you pour it, you won't be disappointed. With front port shipping available in over 40 states across the U.S., Bearded Viking Mead Co. gives you the freedom to meet up anywhere, anytime. So snag your bottles at beardedviking.com. Gather your crew, pop the cork, pour 'em high, raise your glass, and shock 'em always, gang.
All right, we're back. And so we've gone through the men's mental health topics, and I think that we've touched on, the loneliness of social media pretty well. And I think we've all came to the conclusion that it's kind of divide and conquer, right? With several of our topics tonight. And with the working too hard for too damn little, right? One of the mottos that we have is, work harder than everybody else. And when you're out there working harder than everybody else and you're still not getting ahead, that has an impact in your mental health. As you've heard already tonight, because you can't get ahead when, you feel like you're failing, even though you're working your ass off. Because, as men, we want to be able to provide. We want to be able to provide for the family, our kids, whether you're married or not, your kids are still important, and providing for them, making sure that they're taken care of as best you can is always important. And it always weighs on our minds, and making sure that, we're taking care of that next generation, because one day they're going to have to take care of us. Right. Ultimately, we're not going to live forever. I mean, we might.
The home we're going to be in.
Yeah, exactly. We got to start looking at land, right? We got to pick out, something solid, with a view. But and then we talked about being friends during the election, right? I think ultimately we have some hard opinions here, which is fine. I think being able to have those hard conversations is important, but I think it's really eye-opening too when you start having those hard conversations, especially about something as polarizing as politics. Is it can ruin relationships. That those funny memes and videos and stuff like that. If you want to ruin Thanksgiving, your Christmas dinner, you bring up politics. Absolutely fucking hilarious, because it's true. It can really turn things upside down. But I think it's important to be able to speak intelligently about it and know what's going on, be informed. But ultimately, I think that everybody has their tribe, right? Everybody has their pack. And if you don't, if you're trying to find it, you're out there actively looking and trying to find those people that you want to be around. Those people that you can tell, hey, I don't have a bunch of money, but I still want to get together. Like, let's all pitch together and get something done, right? Let's get together. Let's pitch on it. Let's have a meetup, right? Because ultimately they're trying to, the presence has been set where if they divide us, then we're not strong. If we're together, we're very strong. And with something like politics and something like the elections coming up, it's really easy to get divided. And yeah, people are going to lose some friends, or people are going to lose acquaintances, I guess. Because it's probably more likely.
Friends, they'll be there regardless of what you do. Like, we know Boat's into big girls. We don't judge it for him. We still love him. He's still part of the family. Like, your friend's gonna just trust what you do and let you do you and not judge you on it.
We just know that he's gonna have to pitch a little bit more if he's bringing a girl to the barbecue.
Right? Yeah, you got to bring the meat, because we know a girl's gonna eat more.
Oh, I'm bringing the meat, my guy.
3 inches at a time.
When I bring the chick that barely even eats anything, I just need to bring my own alcohol, because we're good.
Right.
Because she's just picking like a carrot here and there.
I'm bringing 2 steaks.
For her. And you're eating hot dogs. You're gonna have a good time though. No, but really it comes down to, you're gonna find your tribe. Those acquaintances might not last through an election season, but that's all right. If it's an acquaintance, they probably weren't that important anyway.
Right.
But it is important to find your people and find those people that you trust, not just because of elections or anything like that, but because of working your ass off. And getting together is still a very important thing to do for men's mental health. I'd say even for women's mental health, and just kind of the health of, people just in general. Getting together, I think, is super important. It's always been in the past, church or some kind of activity like that. and church is not as big of a staple as it used to be in the country, so people aren't getting that kind of interaction and that kind of like energy boost. But it is definitely important to get your people together, and through the election or not. But keep working hard. Everybody else is working hard too, and just kind of know that you're not alone in that.
Hell no.
But since we're back now, should we get into some conspiracy stuff? Rob says he has some
Well,
surprises.
I got a surprise for you. I don't know if you noticed, but there's been a change in the wall.
Oh, wow.
You know, somebody does photography. I figured I'd switch it up a little for you.
Rob's he's really plugging businesses tonight.
Yeah.
100%. Don't, all the studio lights everywhere is kind of putting a glare on it, but it's a great picture.
You know, he's got that. He's got those nice landscapes, ladies. So if you want your house full of landscapes, he's your guy.
He's your guy.
I'm the one for you. After 3 months, we'll discuss it. But
let's get into the conspiracy corner.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about the podcast of the kind of human trafficking aspect of a certain family and how they were trafficking kids. It sounded like they were killing kids for their benefit to try and stay young. And I know that you've been a cop on in multiple different places. So have you come across any trafficking or anything like that in your time spent as?
So that's actually something that I was going to tell you about. So, I worked law enforcement in Seattle, Ogden, Wendover, Utah, kind of all over the place. And something a lot of people don't know, even people that live here in Utah, is Utah is one of the number one places in the nation that have trafficking that's ran through them. And here's why. If you think about it, you've got I-80 and I-15, two main freeways. One goes from coast to coast, east to west. And the other one goes border to border from north to south. And they meet here in Utah.
Mm-hmm.
Because of that, Utah actually, and it's not advertised for whatever reason, there's a religion that's in the state that kind of keeps this under wraps. But Utah is one of the worst for running people through it. Everybody runs through Utah because of that. And it's not just people, it's drugs, it's everything. But Utah is a central point for where all that comes together.
It's a gateway to the east.
100%. Because you literally, I-15 and I-80 meet here in Utah, and they go from Canada to Mexico, from fucking California to New York, coast to coast.
Well, I think it's really easy, too, to establish that we're not bullshitting. It is a gigantic shipping hub.
It really is.
It is one of the biggest.
We are the massive UPS shipping hub of fucking trafficking.
And well, I just mean if it's good enough for shipping, UPS, Amazon, FedEx, actual shipping, because you can go east, west, north, south out of this state. I think it's very easy to understand that trafficking goes through Utah.
You look at Walmart's got massive distribution centers here. Amazon has massive distribution centers here. Facebook has massive fucking buildings here. Like Tyson has a massive distribution center here. There's all these big companies that are legit that are doing it here. Why would you not do the illegal shit as well?
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, I am curious. Have you run across that in your time with law enforcement?
I didn't deal with a whole lot of trafficking, actually. I mean, drugs is a different story. I mean, there's a bust of 90 pounds of marijuana in the trunk of some dude's car for the cartel. Like, we ran into that. We ran into big cocaine busts and stuff like that. Like, another one that we ran into was fraudulent $100 bills. So stuff like that. But I never really dealt with the trafficking. But because I still have a lot of great friends that are in law enforcement, I hear about it, and it is more common than you think. There's a lot of negative shit that's kept out of the media. As far as, I mean, we're one of the highest in the nation for prescription drug abuse. We're in the top for domestic violence. We're one of the biggest for trafficking people. We're one of the biggest for trafficking drugs. We have some of the biggest gangs. Like, there's a lot of shit people don't realize about Utah because they just say Utah, all Mormons, oh, they're good. Or they're nice people. But because of where we're located and the freeways that we have that come through here, there's naturally just going to be that bad habit. It's a simple process. You go one way, you don't have to stop.
Mm-hmm.
You can fill up in Wendover on the Nevada side, drive here, and then turn around, go the other way, and hit California and never have to really stop for anything but fuel.
No, think about how many serial killers they found coming through Utah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's that same process is because it's literally the central place of the largest freeways in America. 3 actually, because you've got I-15, I-80, and I-40 that all run through here that are massive. Like literally, on the scale of like cities that they reach, destinations they reach, those are the 3 of the biggest freeways you'll ever find in America, and they all meet here in Utah.
Yeah, just continuous freeway.
Yep,
just that doesn't stop, coast to coast, and from Mexico to Canada.
You stop at a state that's known for nice people, shitty drivers, not a whole lot of politics, like
holes.
It's simple. Like you can go through here and get stopped for 5 over, and they're not going to search your car, no matter what the fuck you look like or what you have on your bumper. They don't give a shit. So because it's such a lax place in that aspect, why not run through it? It's that easy target. I mean, Al, you should know as the Marine Corps, you're going to go through the easiest fucking destination. Water does the same thing. If there's a leak, it's going to find the least path of resistance. Least resistance. Utah is that. There's very little resistance in Utah. So for trafficking people, it's stupid simple. You have so many people, trucks, companies that all run through here anyway. So if you have something that looks similar, you're just going to fit in with the crowd and keep on going.
Well, and it makes perfect sense, right? Why the Operation Underground Railroad was based out of Utah, or is based out of Utah. Obviously, the CEO caught some shit, but I'm not really believing in the shit that they're selling. We talked about it on the last cast, where it seemed like he was just sniffing a little bit too close to the hierarchy, and all of a sudden he's going down for touching kids, and it seemed a little bit too convenient at the time that it came up, right?
That's the go-to. How easy it is to get on for, dude, I can log into your computer right now and hack you because we're connected through this app.
Right.
Like, and I'm not that experienced. Like for people that we have fucking NSA building here that's spying on the whole fucking country.
Yeah.
It's super simple. So if Al starts preaching too much shit and higher ups or big brothers like, I don't really like this guy, all of a sudden he's going to find fucking kitty porn on his fucking computer.
Yeah.
And
all of a sudden
we all know that's not you.
Yeah, all of a sudden I have a computer in my house that has Windows 95 and a bunch of kitty porn. That's like,
no shit.
That's like the MO. They've done that to several people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, so clearly people that are sniffing too close, that starts to happen too. You know, and what's crazy is the amount of kids that have been saved by that organization. It just completely tried to demolish that organization by going after him. And people disassociated themselves with him, everything like that, right? And it's hard to get the whole story because everything just gets buried after.
Well,
you know, it's going to take an Alex Jones to go in there like a bulldog in a China
you hit on earlier, like everything's a 30-second fucking clip. Everything is. Mm-hmm. No, nobody actually goes and digs. Everybody gets their fucking their news from social media, which we all know is not biased in any way whatsoever.
Never.
Fucking screened in any way. So nobody does any of the research anymore. So even Mr. Beast or whatever, the shit that's going on with that, like there's no real details or anything on it, but instantly everybody has that justification, and they're destroying that business of what he's doing, helping people all the fucking time. We don't even know if it's true. Everybody's already made a decision on it.
I haven't even heard about that one.
What somebody that works for him is possibly down the lines of like a pedo or something like that. But he's already like, and you know, Mr. Beast, like he's out there literally, he's created a business on YouTube
On
and social
giving money
media
away.
on giving money away and helping people. And it's getting destroyed because of this fucking thing. And it's like, well, is that true, or is it because it's a simple way to destroy somebody trying to help?
Yeah. Well, it's the easiest go-to, right? I mean, if they can do it to a former president of the United States, they can do it to anybody, you know?
Yeah.
And
It's as simple as throwing up a few different media things. That's what people see. They don't pay attention. They don't dig. They see the headline. I mean, mainstream media does it all the time. There's a headline that says one thing, but if you actually read through it, it's a whole nother thing. But most people just read the headlines. Oh,
Right.
yep, that must be it. And that's where they get their facts on it without doing any research. And how many people are destroyed like that? Or, you know, athletes that are accused of rape where it's 100% wasn't anything down the lines. And now they've lost everything, their livelihood, their contracts. They've done everything. It's not you're innocent until proven guilty anymore. You're guilty when people decide, well, sounds good to me, and
as
they
soon as
move
it
on.
hits the media, yeah, you're immediately guilty.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that it should not be the norm, right? But it is the norm. So everybody has to protect themselves against stuff like that. And it does not surprise me about how many VPN companies are out there and how many big shows, you know, big podcasts and big shows are actually being promoted and promoting VPNs and stuff like that because it makes it harder to get hacked. I remember one time I was sitting in the same room as our buddy Tom, and he hacked my phone. Just I'm sitting in there, he didn't even tell me that he was doing it, but because my Bluetooth was on, he hacked my phone.
Wow.
And he learned it on the internet. And
Yeah.
he's like, you should turn your Bluetooth off, idiot. I'm like,
Yeah.
Thanks, bud. Like that checks out.
It's as simple as I was sitting at the bar just last week and I get a pop-up on my phone saying I can connect to their fucking 75-inch screen in the TV, and literally I just hit accept and I could screen share on there and put whatever the fuck I want on it. Sitting at a bar. Who would
That's
know?
insane.
Who's to
It-
say it couldn't go
And
back?
literally,
either
it's
way?
I'm not a hacker. I have nothing to do with that. I literally just got a pop up in my screen as like 10 minutes walking in the bar saying, hey, we saw this nearby. Do you want to connect?
Well, that
Yeah.
almost makes me think that like they've hired these old hackers to create these apps. You know what I mean? Or create the connectivity. You know, in these apps because.
Well, I mean,
you know,
if
Well,
you think
look
about it, like Bluetooth, if you follow down the lines of a Bluetooth is really directed towards it was like technology from some of the ships that they found and stuff like that. And it was reverse engineered that they don't even understand fully how it works. They're just utilizing it. So then you get somebody that actually can pay attention to it and figure out how it works. It's something that could be bypassed. There's no securities on Bluetooth.
No, and the thing about that stuff is too is like everybody has a Wi-Fi network now, right? So
Yeah.
if you connect to their Wi-Fi, you're automatically
Connected to
trouble.
every device that connects to it.
mhm.
Yeah. And so if your Wi-Fi network it's not secured, or you don't have a VPN running or something like that, you could seriously be in a lot of danger.
I mean, think of it this way: you go to a hotel. How many hotels have, free Wi-Fi, or coffee shops free Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Mhm.
You're connecting to the same router. It's literally the same exact device. They just have two different names for it, for your guest and then your standard security shit. Most people don't put any other security past that. Most businesses don't. Nobody does anything more security past that. So to log on as a guest and be able to access everything on their main security shit literally takes about 5 minutes for somebody that looked up a fucking thing on DuckDuckGo on how to do so. The
Yeah.
simplicity isn't there because nobody has it. Nobody thinks, oh, I have to worry about this until they do.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, fuck.
Well, that's why this whole trafficking thing is scary, right? Because these people that are trying to crack this thing open, and a lot of the stuff that came out during COVID was pretty wild, especially when it came to the Mercy ship showing up in New York, and I forget
Or
what the
movies that have come out that were
well that, but they
blocked
were
on it.
Man.
But then there was all the scuttlebutt going on in Central Park and saying that they were pulling kids out of tunnels. And they were pulling all kinds of deformed kids and everything like that out of tunnels. And there was like people that basically got clipped because they were showing videos of what was happening. And everybody was like, no, it's not true. But it seemed pretty fucking real and pretty fucking true. And the fact that people got clipped and disappeared over it, in my mind, makes it very much true. So if during COVID, this whole trafficking thing went pretty wild, and it seemed like they were really making headway, and some of the people that I know that worked for these organizations were saying, yeah, they're pulling kids out of all kinds of different tunnels and in places that, because I mean, it's a known fact at this point. Right. I feel like it should be common knowledge that it isn't. Mm-hmm. That there's tunnels all over the country.
Oh, so many. They've been there for hundreds of years, and they just added to them.
Yeah, and the thing is it's like, well, it's really easy to move people when you can't see them, right? And it's really hard for those people to get out, especially as kids, if they don't know where they are and they're being moved underground.
Yeah.
And the fact that that started happening and that the media went really, really quiet on it, because we know who controls the media, and we saw what happened during COVID. So, and then COVID ends, and then all of a sudden, you know, CEOs and people that have been doing all this stuff and, you know, saving these kids are all of a sudden under fire.
Yeah.
So it's like, so if you're going and saving kids and then all of a sudden you become, you know, public enemy number one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that means you probably did something right. Now, I'm not saying that there isn't bad people out there that, you know, have a front going on.
Well, but I think it's becoming more and more understanding to the general population that if mainstream media is attacking somebody, that's probably something you should believe is on the other side of it.
Yeah.
If mainstream media is telling you one thing, there's a good chance you should probably believe the opposite anymore. And more people are awakening to that, because all of these mainstream media are owned by the same fucking people. They're getting the same fucking storylines, the same keywords that they're being added to. People are realizing, and that's a benefit of social media and the internet is how quick it is to find out the truth on it. Because we still have platforms that are not governed. You know, TikTok,
and the people. I think that's what made podcasts and things like what we're doing blow up so fast.
Yeah,
because finally it basically was a propellant for people like us and people that are better at this than us to take off and do these shows to get people thinking outside of the box and actually get them to look into things like the trafficking and all the kids that are getting disappeared off the face of the planet and never found again.
Well, and on that topic too, you can look at, even when you look at podcasts, like you're having to have like companies like Rumble that are popping up, like it's free speech. It's truly free speech, because you could post something on YouTube or something like that it might not follow their guidelines of whatever it may be, or they're going to give you whatever excuse, and they're throttle banning you, and they're doing all this shit, so you're not getting any views. So you have to go to these free sourced, open source sites like Rumble, Truth Social, TikTok still is one of them. I don't know for how long. X, or formerly known as Twitter, or whatever the fuck that bullshit is.
No, I think Elon's done great things with X.
Yeah, but it's because it's not controlled by anybody specifically. It's not one side or the other that's controlling it. It's free speech, whether you like it or not. You might agree, but you just move past it. But because there's still those out there that, and if you look at what they're trying to do to those companies, like TikTok is on this huge scrutiny for the government saying basically you're going to be banned in the United States if you don't sell.
They've done a lot of fucked up shit though too.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying they're perfect, but it's free speech. They're not judging one side or the other, because you can follow the algorithm of, you know, for guys like me, it's going to be cars and funny shit and America and fucking prepping and shit like that, or fucking chicks flashing their shit. The algorithm is fucking crazy. But then you have people
honestly,
that are on the other side of it where their algorithm's completely different, and it's going to be more the leftist views. It's going to be the Kamala Harris is the fucking savior. It's going to be all this shit because it's still free speech.
one thing that I don't understand is why is it so hard to get behind saving kids?
That's
Why if
I
there
agree.
wasn't such a huge component at a higher elite level of consumption of children, whether it be sexually or physical consumption, because we've already gone through the whole bloodlines thing where they're using adrenochrome, they're using blood to stay younger, and right after we did the podcast, obviously my phone is listening, the video popped up of the guy who gave his dad that was on his deathbed a pint of his blood. His dad basically started aging in reverse, and then he took a pint of his son's blood and he started aging in reverse as well. And it's not like it's a very taboo thing, but it's a very real thing that's happening. So if there wasn't such a proponent or a huge number of them that are in the business of consuming kids,
so here's the
then it
catch with
wouldn't be such a hard thing to do.
But
for
here's
people
the
to save
catch with
kids.
it.
Yeah, agreed.
There's no, and this can go as far as, you know, the pandemic with all that bullshit and the different topics with that, the blood, the different topics with that. At the end of the day, it boils down to the same thing, and it's financial gain. It's all driven by a financial gain. If there's all these big ass companies are going to make money by giving you medicines that's going to help you supposedly get younger, but it's going to kill you quicker. You just don't realize it. But they advertise all this shit of how it's going to help you. They're going to give you medication to help you because you're sick, and this and this and this and this. It's financial gain. COVID, not to throw out the C word, you know, it's not cunt. The C word used to be cunt. Now it's COVID. It's a whole different ballgame. But I mean, they attacked Joe Rogan so much so that they like filtered him and made him look yellow and all this shit because he was like, oh no, you could take fucking ivermectin and it's good. And they attacked it because there's no gain in it. It's all comes down to financial gain.
Well,
and the situation of the kids is the financial gain. You have these rich ass fucking people in Hollywood that are paying the money for it, and all the money that comes from trafficking and sex trafficking, whatever type of track you're looking at, it's a financial gain. And people that are important, people that are rich, and people that matter have control over it, so they keep it out of the media. And if anybody disagrees, well, they're going to commit suicide, shooting themselves in the back of the head twice with a shotgun.
Yeah,
it's crazy. But I'm not suicidal, so if everybody knows that, I'm happy where I'm at. I'm not trying to like.
None of us are suicidal. We
we
love our
if
lives.
it happens.
Yeah, and I'm not physically capable of shooting myself in the back of the head with a shotgun twice.
Right, but you know, nowadays
recoil doesn't work that way.
It's going to show on your death certificate you died of COVID.
yeah, that's going to be on the certificate for sure.
Shit.
But I just mean,
don't mind the two big holes.
How did we get to this place, right, where there's financial gain and trafficking kids, and the people that are trying to help and save them are the bad guys, and the people that are working to do this are like ex-Army Rangers, ex-SEALs, ex-MARSOC guys, ex-Force Recon guys, like highest level creme de la creme warriors that got out of fighting wars and then started fighting a different war to try and get this shit done. You know, putting a cap on that well.
Stop to it, yeah.
Oh, but how the hell did we get so far and have so many evil people in the world that's a commodity? The kids are.
You want me to tell you? I'll answer that question for you. I have a response for you that will answer the question for you. And this is coming from somebody you guys well know I'm not a religious person. I don't believe in mass religion. I'm a spiritual person, but I think there's a higher power. Okay.
Yeah.
The more you push evil, the more there's gain. I mean, think about it. I mean, greed is, one of the 7 sins. Greed, lust, all these things. if you look at where the world's at nowadays, and it's just not in America, just across the world, those 7 deadly sins are thrown in your face.
Mm-hmm.
And as somebody that is not a religious person, it makes you think like maybe there's something pushing this in your face, because if you alleviate that and you avoid that, all of a sudden things start to look better for certain people and certain classes. I mean, and we're here in Utah where the people that are the richest, the people that are well off, the people that have the happy lives, the big families, a lot of them are a religious family.
Mm-hmm.
Where they're not allowing that in. Utah's across the board as a statistic gain. Like we have the worst. We have the best reaction to any type of recession. It doesn't affect us like it does the best of most of the country.
Right.
Gas prices doesn't affect the rest of the country. We don't have all these other things that are going on all over the world. It's like hitting us with kids' glove versus Mike Tyson punching you, because it's a softer blow to us.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you think about why is that? Well, we're one of the most religious fucking states in the world. Now, if you also look at Israel, up until recently, which if you start looking at the history of things and how they've kind of steered away from the religion, they've always been a step ahead of everybody else because of the religion thing. Now, again, not to say that this is based off of any specific religion, but it's the faith of knowing that I'm not going to do something bad. I'm going to steer clear of that and keep these negative things out of my life. Now, again, I don't think it's a religious thing personally. I think it's more of a law of attraction, but because in religion, you're naturally being taught to attract better things, you're doing that law of attraction. So you're putting it out in the universe, like, I want good things. I need this. I want a good family. I want this. And it comes in where you're steering out that negative shit. So you can see it as religion. You can see it as law of attraction. It doesn't matter. But when you see that is that deciding factor of who's doing really good and who's not, it kind of leans towards there's something there when you're letting in all this negative shit into your life.
Well, yeah, I mean, because you know the devil or the evil master or whatever the fuck you want to call him, you know, will give you everything. Will give you every humanly desire if you play by his rules. You know what I mean? If you let him pull the strings, and really, I mean, that's kind of what I see. You know what I mean? And I think it's becoming more and more and more aware. Well, I guess in view, but people aren't calling it out. You know?
Well, that's literally a kid's fairy tale of the same concept. Rumpelstiltskin. I'm going to wish for this. He's going to give you this. But then if you read through the guidelines, he's pretty much going to fuck you up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's the same concept.
No one needs to find print.
Nobody does.
Well, it's because we live in a world and a society now where it's instant gratification. And,
Instant.
Well, and even like I struggle with the instant gratification part of it too.
Everybody
because
does.
I'm like, I want this now. But I'm like, I don't have enough fucking money for that. You know what I mean? Or like, I gotta give up this if I want that. You know, and that type of shit bums me out, right? Because everybody wants instant gratification and everybody likes cool shit. And, you know, it's a good thing that I have the wife that I have. Otherwise, I'd probably be broke because of all the cool shit that I have.
Well, you're not going to sell your soul.
You'd have cool shit road for a while, and then they'd be gone.
Yeah, I'd have it for like a month.
Thank you, Justine.
You're not going to sell your soul to the devil for it, or eat or eat children or drink their blood either. You know,
Right.
Again, wait.
If you're following, you know, if you're throwing that tinfoil hat on, and you're following down the steps of things and look at across the board of things, like there's so many different signs of it. I mean, and Billy Carson's topped on it, and there's a bunch of different things out there as far as like, you know, in the Bible it says, you know, speak thy name and I'll basically save you. Well, if you follow from like all the way back and follow the guidelines on it, Jesus was never his name. It was something else. So you're following all these lines, and there's all these different things throughout history of man deciding the victor writes history.
History wins.
This is what it is. And so everybody's losing the grasp of what happened 2,000 years ago. Everybody's losing the grasp of what happened 100 years ago because the victor writes the fucking history. So nobody really knows because your ancestors and their ancestors have died. So now it's left down of, that phone game of I'm going to whisper in your ear and then you're going to whisper to him. And then Bond's going to whisper it back and repeat it. And it's going to be a completely different thing.
Yeah, because you didn't hear it.
Yeah.
Right. Because you don't know. You weren't there. And we're hitting that again.
So
because I think back in the day, because like we were talking about earlier, the families were more of a compound situation. They weren't spreading their wings and going all over the country. Everybody grew up together. They died, the parents died, then the kids took over the house. Like there was all that close-knit thing. So that phone game was more of a microphone versus I'm whispering. And now it's becoming more and more a whisper.
This is why this is, and I want you to touch on this a little bit, the boat goat. But kind of like what Caldery says, is this is ultimately going to be a video diary, right? So for as long as the internet and video lasts, people will be able to go back and look at these and see exactly what happened in history, or at least have a really good, well-painted portrait of the events and the things that happened. So do you think that after all is said and done, do you think this will be the diary that gets deleted, erased, and burned?
I think so. Or hold on, Murph. Wait your fucking turn. Stop hitting the mic. I honestly think that, we've been seeing history get washed just in the last 10 years, which is frightening as fuck. You know what I mean? Because, whatever servers that this stuff is stored on, besides our own, if they don't like it, they're going to wash it. So I kind of look at this as our kind of Dead Sea Scrolls. People are going to go look back and look at these hard drives and pull up these computers and see this kind of stuff and be like, oh my gosh, is this, was this real? Is this the truth that they're talking? And then have to and go back, trace the lines and try to trace the truth and try to find out the truth. And honestly, I hope there are truth seekers out there like that in our future. But I don't know. It's almost that crapshoot, bro, of whether people want this stuff to get out or not.
So it comes back to
the losers.
Don't worry, I'll come back to you, red face. So that kind of begs a question. It kind of goes back to my original question: is the written word? I'll phrase it in a different way. Is a written word going to be more important than the spoken word? Because right now, this is spoken, it's recorded, but is it going to be more important to write it? Because this can be scrubbed.
To be honest, I think it'll be more important to write it. And it's sad because writing and books and everything they're slowly fading away and they're slowly becoming a lost art. And, but you still have good authors out there. You still have people writing about this. You still have people, spreading that word through book. But you just look at Dr. Mike. Dr. Mike got shadow banned on Amazon, you know what I mean, for putting out Fauci's fiction. And, and it was a New York Times bestseller. And now you can't find the fucking thing barely. You know what I mean?
Well, and the thing is it's not just authors that I'm talking about. And it's not just book publishers. I'm talking about you writing down and me writing down and Murph using a crayon. It's
red,
very important.
Obviously.
Yeah, red's the best flavor. Yeah.
Red.
Yeah,
I think you're right. I think that's important, and that would have to,
Yeah, and I disagree with both of you.
Some different...
writing it on a book's not going to make a difference. The recordings aren't going to make a difference. It's the audience that you reach. So, right now, say we have 1,000 people that consistently watch this. Okay. That's only 1,000 people out of the 7-8 billion people in the world that's going to remember what we're saying. hard drives will get destroyed over time. It's technology. You let it sit, you're not gonna be able to plug it in anything. I mean, try and watch a VHS. Okay, that's not even that old. Try and watch a fucking DVD. Yeah, most people don't even have a DVD player anymore. You're not gonna have the ability to do it. A book, simple to get rid of books. Okay, anything on the internet, simple to wipe away, stuff like that.
But
What's gonna matter?
Hang on. But if you're writing it down for your kids to consume, or basically your family to consume, so they can go back and read what actually happened, is that important? Because is this going to last long enough for our kids to see it, and our kids to see it?
Yes and no.
But that written word may last longer because it can go down through the generations, right?
Right. No, and I agree. So there's three of us right here on the podcast. You got 2 kids, you got 2 kids, I got 3 kids, okay? So right there's 7 people that we could pass that on to, right? That, they might have their own kids, they're going to pass it down. But then you're still only looking at, in 100 years from now, maybe 30 to 100 people that's going to know what we're saying. Now you multiply that by 1,000 people, so now that's, 300 to 3,000 people, or 3,000 to 30,000 people that's going to know. Look at the vast majority of people. When there's a small enough group like that, there's 500,000 people that think flat Earth's the thing, and everybody thinks they're fucking idiots. They might be right. Who knows? But
I've never been in a rocket. I've never seen.
Right, that's what I'm saying. We don't know for sure. We haven't lived it, so everybody's going to see it as, well, no. So this could potentially be the new flat Earth thing 200 years from now. Of, well, is this really how America went? I don't think that's what's going to last. Yes, it will last to an extent for your immediate family and, kind of down that small tree line. But I think it's about reaching the people. Now, if you follow the storylines from history with Roman history, Greek history, Viking history, it's based off of the millions or the thousands and thousands of people that knew of this person. And, it's kind of turned into folklore, but there's still the same baseline of wherever you're at, that's what's there.
Right, but with those stories, it started with a small group.
Correct.
And it continued down the lines.
Correct.
Until it was 1,000.
It wasn't a small group, though, because that affected a lot of people.
Right,
and again, I'm not saying, I'm just like, look at it this way in today's age, okay? Compare this podcast to Joe Rogan's, okay?
Oh,
obviously different topics, different media, but I promise you anything that's spoken on his will reach a lot bigger of an area and will be down the road once, computers are destroyed. We're fucking Tartarians. We're the same version of them where we've been wiped off the planet. Nobody remembers it. There's still going to be a hint of it because he's got, 8 million followers or whatever 10 million followers of it, to where they discuss it in person with other people, and it's something that's passed on and discussed, whereas we're a smaller group. So yes, it will matter to certain people, but like to make an impression enough to be remembered 2,000 years from now, we've got to reach a stronger group. We've got to push it. And honestly, I truly think going the route that the BVMC is and VOC is going, that it will be there. I don't doubt that one bit. It's just saying that as of right now, if we look at today's date, if all of a sudden all this got wiped away, we had no power, there's only going to be a small group of people that's going to know what's being discussed here and our version of things versus Joe Rogan. If tomorrow all of a sudden's gone, there's a lot of people that's going to understand that Donald Trump, his version, like those versions will carry throughout time. It's a bigger ripple. It's throwing a pebble versus throwing a boulder. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Well, and I get that point of view and that aspect, because, and I totally
look how many books
there's
from the 1920s that are still in school. Not very many.
Well, and I agree with you in the sense that those shows are huge. People are listening to those shows, but a lot of those shows that you just mentioned and that we refer to are shows that share a lot of the same values and a lot of the same history that we're going through, and the aspect and impact that history's had. So yeah, we are a smaller show for sure, tiny in comparison, and like you said, a pebble, but still having the impact of reaching the people that we do. If we decide that the written word is going to be more effective and more impactful than the spoken word, and we have the 1,000 people that listen to us or whatever, they start writing stuff down, and then you have a whole bunch of the books or journals that are talking about the exact same things or close to the same things and close to the same accounts that are currently happening and things that are going down. And all of a sudden, that's all the way across. That's across the country, right? Across the world in some cases, because we do have some listeners in the UK and all over. So when you break it down and look at it that way, it might only be 1,000 people, right? But if they start writing it down and then they start telling, and their kids start reading it and see what happens, and their kids start reading it, then you have those Viking raiders, you have those Roman soldiers accounts, you have that type of effect on history that's really, really hard to erase. Because I do think that this could be really, really easy to erase. You brought up VHS and DVDs, right? I got a shit ton of both.
Do you have a VH player? You do.
Yes,
so you're like one of the 7 people in Utah.
Yeah.
Still have it.
I'm not going to tell anybody where it's at, though.
Good. Keep it safe.
Yeah, it's gold. You just blow it off like an old Nintendo game.
So I can agree with it on this aspect because, like I'm saying, yes, we are smaller, but to agree with what you're saying is there's a lot of much bigger people that are speaking the same thing we are. So that's what's going to help our ripple effect is we threw in this pebble, but then there's a boulder right behind it that's pushing our wave even further along.
Yeah, what killed Goliath?
Yeah, no shit.
I mean,
a pebble.
The people that are doing shows like us and us, we're essentially David.
I think that's why it's huge that, and I've told you guys that this is massive for you guys to do. Regardless of what happens, regardless of down the road, this is massive for you to do because the people that listen, I've listened to every fucking episode except for the one that hasn't aired yet. And I was talking to you guys about
tomorrow.
It. Yeah, tomorrow. I'm always on top of it, and I gain a lot from it. And I listen to others. I listen to other, podcasts and other people that are like-minded, or I wouldn't say like-minded, but more. It seems more honest and more true to me. So then I'm going to pass that on to my kids that are going to pass on to their kids. And that's where that ripple effect just keeps going and going and going. So I do agree that it is huge and that having these recorded could be a huge thing, whether they could be read or not, or down the road, they don't know, like you're trying to fucking find a Radio Shack to buy a player to get it, but then Radio Shack's
First
gone.
You gotta find the Radio Shack.
Then you go to fucking, Blockbusters and realize Blockbuster's gone. Like, we're gonna be in
I heard Pizza Hut's coming back, so it won't be very.
It never left, dude.
It won't
Pizza
be.
Hut is still there.
I sat in a Pizza Hut 2 weeks ago and drank a beer and ate pizza.
Yeah,
they sell beer at Pizza Hut now.
Do they really? And
yeah.
Dog shit. Good for them.
It's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
So, do you think that what we're doing and the things that we're saying, because your kids are different than my kids, even though they're cousins, they see each other all the time. Very much different. They're going to grow up and they're going to have a whole lot different aspects on life.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
Do you think that something like this is going to be impactful to your kids and the way that they see the future, the past, what you did, and what they're going to do?
I think so. Yeah, I really do think so. And couple that on top of what they're going to find or what they're going to compare when they get together with their cousins when we're gone. I think that that's going to be an even bigger impact because it just wasn't my bullshit. You know what I mean? So I think really it will. They're cerebral like that, and they still, they are getting older, and but they still value what I say, and they still value my experiences. Case in point, I told Olive for the first time, well, both of them for this first time. We were, I can't remember how it came up. We were in a conversation or whatever, and I told her for the first time that I got electrocuted, and she's like, "What? What?"
She's like, "That makes a lot of sense, Dad."
Yeah,
that checks out.
And it's just little things like that where they're still intrigued and they're still, they're still flabbergasted or whatever. I don't know, by some of the shit that happened to me because, obviously they didn't know, but at the same time they didn't need to know to know that, they were still interested in what the fuck I had to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and your kids come off very differently than I guess a lot of the kids that I know, right? And they really don't give a fuck about what I have to say. They're absolutely terrified of me, but they don't actually give a shit on like what's actually coming out of my mouth.
Yeah.
So at face value, when I'm having interactions with them, it's hard to determine whether there's any takeaways or value in that, or whether they just think their uncle's crazy and just mean.
Well, I mean, there is that. That's a fact, but you got to find a balance out of it.
Well, and I think they're in this stage right now too, where they're just still trying to figure out what's real and what's bullshit, and you're a funny guy. You come around, you make everybody laugh, and and so half of this shit that comes out of your mouth, the kid's just a guy. He's just, it's just smile black. You know what I mean? And he's a funny guy, and they don't know whether to take it at face value or not at this point. You know what I mean? As they grow older, I think it'll start to make more of an impact. Especially when you get down to brass tacks with them about something.
Well, I think it normally yes, but with Al, even us that have known him forever, we don't know what the fuck he's. He's serious or he's fucking around, but for the most part, I see what you're saying. Like most of the time,
throw that at a fucking kid and expect him to sort that out in a matter of 5 minutes.
And they're well, fuck. I've known you for years, and I'm like, I don't know if he likes me today or not.
What the fuck's he saying?
Friends' kids that come to the house, you know what I mean? They're just kind of like, but I think it's their age and stuff, and I think that. I think you get a little bit more reaction out of your kids because they're your kids, Well,
and I see that. So the reason why I bring that up, and like we've actually digressed right the fuck out of conspiracy, and we're actually talking more about legacy now, which is okay. I'm kind of digging where this is going. The reason why I bring this up is because the kids that we'll take the baseball kids for example.
Mm-hmm.
I obviously get to see those kids a lot more than I see my nieces and everything. But you can tell that the wheels are turning when we're telling them something, even outside of baseball.
Yeah.
And they're like, they are consuming what you're saying, and they're trying to figure out same thing like you guys are saying, whether I'm fucking with them or whether I'm being serious. And that's probably one of my faults is, but I love all the kids the same, but it's funny, the interactions that I have with them and asking them questions, and I'm like, are you sure you should be looking at that? Should we be watching that? Does that have any value, or is it just rotting your brain?
Oh, you mean like club night at Rudy's not too long ago when you questioned her, she thought she was joking, and all of a sudden it went from joking out to fucking no. Are you supposed to be watching that?
You're supposed to be watching that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden the phone like kind of disappeared. And she's like, well, maybe I shouldn't be watching this. You know,
Making her question her whole life
yeah,
existence.
she was thinking about it. I was like, I don't think that's one of those YouTube videos that's meant for you. But you know what I mean? As far as, you know, the consumption of what we're talking about, because obviously it's way outside of a, you know, a preteen or I guess teenager in most cases, but the kind of the age of understanding, you know, or is it going to have an impact? Are they going to be able to champion the ideas? Have those things been instilled in, you know, in your kids and my kids and Rob's kids, that they'll be able to champion the ideas and understand the ideas and ideals that we're trying to pass on about helping people and doing right by people, taking care of your family, finding your tribe, taking care of your tribe, having your tribe take care of you if you need the care. Like, is that something that you think will last? Will it live on?
It'll definitely live on, because I think, and it's along those lines of it, that there's still, I mean, the negative that, you know, your generational trauma. And I talked to you when it was just Al and I on the last podcast where Murph made it, is like general traumas. You know, you could be rich and have no negative in your life, but for some reason, whatever, you feel down all the time. And I think it's true that the generational trauma or the history of your generation is ingrained in your DNA. So it's still going to be there. Like, if you're enough so of an impression on your kids that where they're going to be on their kids, that down the road, the same shit that we're spewing here on this podcast, it's going to be ingrained in their DNA almost to a point, if that makes sense. Because it's, I mean, think about your kids and your kids, like stuff that they, you know, they've grown up with, and you've told them, well, don't do this, but you see that they're doing what you still do. It's not because they're trying to spite you or go against your word. It's because it's literally in their DNA, because they are part of you. That's going to carry on. And I think that that's a true thing. And that's something I didn't even know about until probably 6 months ago, when I started like paying attention on it and like, you know, listening to podcasts or reading on it. Is like, that seems legit. Like, if you look at history, all the way down to slaves, like these people, they're great. There ain't nobody alive that's been a slave, but it's still there. And that trauma is still there for good reason, because they went through hell. So that stuff that is going to resonate through time.
Generational trauma.
Well, and I think this will carry on the same way, as if we're instilling good values and good things, and, you know, teaching these things, and the stuff that we talk about, our kids are going to definitely watch. Even if shit goes crazy, our kids are going to see it. So they're going to pass it on their kids and in their own form. And it's definitely going to carry on that way.
I think so too. I think that, though, it's going to be a little bit harder, I guess, for me, because I know my kids, and I know myself, and I know their mother, is, you know, to pass on some of these values and to kind of get them to where they understand how important it is to be in a good headspace and help somebody out when you can, and find your tribe. You know what I mean? And those are some of our, you know, core values, you know, as a crew, and as I guess, you know, as people, and of our tribe, because they're kind of, they're different. You know what I mean? And
so I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna disagree with you on this one, though. And this is coming from my experiences. I know you as a brother, and I know you as a father to your kids, and you're a huge impact. Al's the same way. Now, me as someone where my family wasn't that big of an impact, but the positivity stuff still resonated throughout. And it took me time to like grow up and, like, you know, realize I'm a fucking idiot on some of my decisions, and, you know, adapt. But I realized that the stuff that my family was teaching me, my mom specifically, and, you know, parts of people that I consider family taught me at a young age, that for years I've been, nah, this is bullshit, this is bullshit, this is bullshit. Now But then all of a sudden, like I start to piece it together, and it takes time, it takes growing, it takes things where you're gonna rebel one way, and then you're gonna come back to it.
Yeah.
And that's coming from people that weren't like massive impacts in my life, other than my mom, who, did the best she could with what she had and the shit she went through. And those are still key things to, 20, 30 years later, I still remember. And she didn't have as big of a role later in life or, my teenage years because of situations. Whereas, like, I know you as a dad and you do so much. Same with Al, like teaching, the baseball, or, you just random, like, we're going to go do things. We're going to pick them with a car. We're going to go do drive-ins. Like the impact that you have on your kids, I know because of my history, I could promise you it will be delayed because kids are kids and you didn't believe in your dad, but you can look back now and be like, he was probably actually right on this shit.
Yeah.
But
well,
I know the impact you guys have, and I know the type of parents both of you are, and I know for sure that's something that's going to carry on through their kids to their grandkids to, like, it will carry on because of how strong of an impact you guys are for them.
Oh, that's very much appreciated. Like because you don't get to see it from the outside very often.
Right. It's different. You're looking at it like this, and I'm kind of zoning from the outside.
But here's the thing that goes across the board is you never know what's going to stick with your kids.
Oh, no, you don't.
Our parents didn't know what was going to stick with us, and there's some great things that stuck with us that maybe they didn't even plan on sticking with us. And then there's some things that they really wanted to drive home that just kind of went out.
Never really.
You know what I mean?
Oh.
I think my kids are just a big giant experiment.
Everybody's is. There's no real book.
Right. Well, and we've talked about the book that needs to be written. And it's really assholey that nobody's wrote the book. So maybe we'll have to write.
Well, there's been a lot of people that have attempted to write the book, but they've all fucking failed.
Yeah, it's always it's all touchy-feely and stuff. It's not like real shit. But I expose the kids to more things than I was exposed to, and hide very little from them, because I want them to be able to see things and understand things and ask questions, whereas it could totally blow up and backfire in my face. I'll know in like 6 years for the first one how much it's blown
I'll know in
up.
2.
And but the thing is, you have a great daughter, that you're going through it right now, and she's tough, independent, knows what she can do, knows a lot more than most females her age, which is just super endearing. Like, I love when little Murph comes up to the property and hangs out, because she's so much fun to just sit there and talk to, and just to kind of hear her teenage perspective. Well, and it's really funny.
Same thing like when we were up there listening to the fucking random music, and fucking all of a sudden, goddamn Goat's daughter was there just chiming in and throwing jokes, just having a blast. And,
oh, dude, she's been talking about
personality comes out, like, but that's you. That's you coming out of her, because the experiences you show her and like the impact that you have with her. Yeah. And that's the same thing with your kids. Like, Sam is you to a fucking T. Like, oh my God, dude. He don't take shit. You tell him, go do this. Nah, fuck that. I'm going to go do my own thing. And then you're like, nah, go do this. I'm like, all right, I guess I will, because I need to. But like, you're the same way. And it's not a bad thing. Like, they have their own personalities and their own ways of handling things, just like little Murph does. She's just like me. She's just better looking. But she is just like me. She has my attitude. She has I don't put up with bullshit from anybody. And it's not a bad thing, because I know the good things that I instill and keep pushing and pushing and pushing, just like you guys do with your kids. You realize, okay, they're not learning quite, so you keep pushing and pushing and pushing on certain aspects or certain topics in your life, where you're going to come a day where you're like, damn, you're a fucking good kid. Like, and it might be, when you're walking one of your girls down the aisle, or when you're going to, the hospital when your kids when they have a kid.
Damn, what would you put that shit on me?
Damn.
Damn, dude.
Whatever it may be, or you're going to their baseball game because you've instilled this much into them, and they're in minor league baseball, or they got scouts looking at it. It really doesn't matter. Like, we could joke back and forth, but the stuff that we ingrain, I don't think is a bad thing. Yeah, we're kind of stubborn. We have our negativity on things, but we don't push that on our kids.
Yeah,
we back them and guide them the best that we can. And this podcast is a huge thing that I think that they will always follow suit on and see and listen to it. And down the road, even if it doesn't reach Joe Rogan status after everything's wiped away, it's going to reach enough people that it's going to make a difference. Because everyone that Sam and Conrad touch, everyone that Effie and all that, everybody that my kids touch, it's going to change them because the way we're guiding them.
Well, it's funny too, because Olive asked me constantly, she's like, how's the company? How's the podcast going? How's this? And I told her we were casting tonight, and she's like, oh, well, how's the podcast going? I was like, well, it's going good, babe. We're doing the thing. We're getting it out there. I don't let her listen to it yet, and I don't let F listen to it yet.
God no.
Good reason.
And that's kind of the way I'm sheltering them right now. But in the next couple of years, I'm gonna be like, look, we have 150 episodes. Just start fucking listening, and they're going to learn a lot about me that they didn't know. But at the same time, too, they're going to learn a lot about themselves that's like, oh, well, yeah.
Maybe the relatable aspects.
Yeah, they're going to relate to a lot of it.
Because, mom and dad were growing up, too.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Nobody realizes that, when you're a kid, that your mom and dad are just trying to figure this shit out, too. They're just trying to put, food on the table and trying to raise you up the best that they know how. And
it's the mentality of, I've only been a parent as long as you've been a kid.
Yeah, exactly. That's a perfect way of fucking putting it. That needs to be said more often. And
I'm just figuring this shit out with you.
Yeah, as you
especially
fuck up
with the oldest,
and I fuck up, we're going through this together, okay? And it makes perfect sense. That's I'm gonna write that down. It's something smart that Rob said. I'm writing it in my diary right now.
Put it in your diary.
Rob said something very smart today.
Yes.
After half a bottle of Healy.
Oh no, it's a whole bottle.
Very rare.
Well, and the thing is they don't get to see that aspect, and because of this, our kids will get to see that at a younger age, probably, than we realized it, because we didn't realize it until we were in our, probably mid to late 20s, or until we had fucking kids.
35, 36, 37.
that checks out.
30.
It's only been the last year or two that I've realized things that I've fucked up the last 37 years prior. So
right now you got the next 30 years to fix it, right? But
15 at most. Have you met me?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're gonna be like Fred. You guys are gonna fucking live forever.
I probably will. I'm gonna be like 130, and I'm gonna be that grumpy ass fucking man,
just gonna have
yelling
robot
at the fucking
legs.
kids, walking across the window of the one window I have in my old folks' home, and flirting with the nurses,
scraping fucking paint remover off the truck with no fucking mask on. Yeah, that'll be you.
He's gonna be that guy.
Turn my hands black up to here.
Oh, that was hilarious. He looked like he just got.
And then just standing there waiting for him to drive up because I couldn't go inside and I couldn't go anywhere. And I'm like, I don't know what do I do with my hands. And as soon as they pull up, I'm like, I need some help.
No, it's a really thought-provoking, interesting thing. Especially talking about, we went from trafficking. Why is it so hard to save the kids? Why is this not being done? Because people want to try and take your kids from you for, malevolent purposes. To, God, I hope we didn't fuck this up. We'll figure it out if we did, probably sooner than later. But trying to, I think as much as we didn't want to admit it, maybe on previous episodes, like maybe it is more about the legacy and making sure that everybody kind of knows the history of what's going on and has a better idea of where we came from and how we get to the next place. So I think it's really important. I like the digression that we had. I think it was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
It definitely like we were doing so good, and then we did this thing.
you know, it just goes to show, I guess, how much we care for our kids and how much, you know, how much we don't want to fuck it up, but how much we want to protect them at the same time, you know, and protect them by, you know, teaching them these things and teaching them, you know, what we can and letting them know that they're people and they, you know, and we're people too, you know. And I mean, we make mistakes, and
I think we're our own worst enemy on the topic, though, especially when it comes to our kids. Is we see it like we could do this better with this, that, like we judge ourselves so much, but then an outsider comes in and is like, no, dude, your kids are awesome, they're great. Like, yeah, they're little shits because they're still kids, but they're respectful. They know all their shit. And again, I'm probably the worst. My worst critic. Al's his worst critic, and I know yours is your worst critic about your kids. But at the end of the day, Al and I could sit here and tell you your kids are great, just like you and I could tell Al his are. And you guys tell me, you know, you guys don't know the boys a lot, but I mean, Al had spent some time with
the boys,
them.
yeah,
and it's you're seeing it from that outside perspective kind of helps ground a little bit, like make you like, okay, I am doing the right thing of what I need to do.
Well, and I think it takes, like, you know, they say it takes a village, right?
Oh, it fucking does.
And bringing that up, right? And we'll use this kind of as the last talking point, but you know, it really is important for the people that are around you to support you, especially with your kids. You know, you asked me when I was, you know, I just happened to be down in St. George. Your kids live in St. George. Your boys live down there. Hey, can you go spend some time with the boy and let me know, you know, whether he's righty or lefty?
Yeah.
He wants to play baseball. And there wasn't a part of me that was going to be like, no, I don't have time for that. You know, because this is our tribe, this is our village, this is what we're doing. We're helping each other all the way and doing what we can along the way. And yeah, hell yeah.
But to add to that is because we've already established that this is our tribe. I knew I could even ask that. You know, most people I wouldn't ask that. Like, there's a lot of people that I know go to St. George all the time. I'm not going to say, hey, you want to go work with my kids while you're down there? I knew you're going down there. Hey, my kid's interested in baseball. I knew I can come to you on that.
Yeah.
So
well,
that's like, where the tribe's important.
Yeah, that's where that familiarity and comfortability comes in with, you know, that tribe and people that you trust and love. Hey, just take this little bit of time out of your day and just go talk to them, go meet them, play with them. And
it
that was really all it took. I played with the kids for a half an hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah, I was going to say, it took an hour max. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's not like it was some gigantic burden.
Right. I was going to say, hey, go take the next 2 weeks and go down there and, you know, handle my shit. It was just take a few minutes of your time and just let me know what I need to order for them.
But I think it's super important that if you're in a position like that and somebody asks you for the help, that you render the help. You know, it's not a big thing, but it could be impactful, especially for kids. Well, it can be very impactful.
That I think that's kind of like that's a super cool feeling to have. You know what I mean? Where your buddy's just like, hey, I don't know what to do here. Can you help me out with this? Can you do this? I know this is your thing. You've done this for a long time. Help me out with this. And that's a super cool feeling to have, to where you can just, you know, you can help a buddy out that way. And like you said, you spent an hour with them and you got it fucking worked out. You know what I mean? It was great. And you got to spend some time with them, get to know them a little bit. And
I got to hang out with the kids more, you know, and like the kid is an absolute spitting image of Murph. It was absolutely hilarious. I had a great time.
Same
This
haircut.
was even
Oh,
more red on top, though.
Yeah, he's a little bit brighter red.
His head looks like this.
His head looks like the "We the People" on your shirt. But the thing is, they were great kids, you know. But it was like just the time spent, right?
Yeah.
And the trust that he had in me, and you know, his ex-wife was like, "Yeah, I'll be there in 5 minutes," and just that trust means a lot to me, of course.
It's
But
huge.
it also,
Yeah.
you know,
Here's
the
my
kid-
ex-wife's
the kid-
number. You want to talk to her?
Yeah.
There's some
Right.
trust there
Fun
for
with that
sure.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and it was fun. You know, it was just like a fun situation. But I think that's important to be able to trust and understand that. Yeah, if somebody's asking you for help in the tribe and you're there, dude, like be there.
Yeah. There's no reason not to. Yeah.
But again, for a lot of people that are listening that maybe don't have that, or they're like, well, I'm too old for that. Just so you guys all know, like I've had a certain set of tribe, you know, my Cedar Fort family, you know, the whole situation out there. But I've never had a lot of close brothers like that until, you know, just a few years ago when I met these two. So don't think like, oh, it's never going to happen. Like I met these fuckers randomly in a parking lot, and at a, you know what I mean? Like, and now look at us, like, yeah. Now I'm out there. I'm storing vehicles at his house. I probably got shit left at his house. Like, it is what it is. Like, don't doubt that tribe's there. You just got to put the effort in to find it. And
Yeah.
like I said, there's brothers out there that are going to take care of you. Like these two are my 3 a.m. friends that I can call these motherfuckers anytime, and I know they're there. And I didn't find that until my mid-30s. So trust me that it's there. You just need to fucking find it.
Yeah, you got to go through a few ugly ones before you find.
Yeah,
the
well,
right?
sometimes you get stuck with an ugly one.
And you got to put in some effort too on your part. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a thing too. Is like we met you and it was like, oh, this guy's fucking hilarious. You know what I mean? And didn't know that you know that you were gonna come around the next day, and then you know we had fun times with your.
Well, then you
know.
kept coming around, and we told you, no, you're not fucking leaving. So
Yeah.
now it's like Stockholm's.
Right. So. Yeah, I definitely feel that Stockholm syndrome because I was like, I'm out. They're like, no, you can't go. I was like, okay, I'm not going.
You ain't leaving now.
I can't.
You ain't leaving.
Spent too much time. You're fucking stuck with.
But what is this? Are the beasts from that family? I know I'm not trying to change the subject. I'm trying to decipher your topics, and I know we've been on this one for a minute. I feel like that was a pretty good stopping point of like, no, just trust that your family's out there. You just got to put in a little bit of effort.
Well, and because of where we're at on the time, I think we'll save that for another podcast. So we'll save that. We'll put a pin in it for the next time the MERF'S on. But I really think
better be the next one. All I'm saying, you guys just have a good time when I'm here. I have a good time. Like I got the lights here. I'm half blind.
Look, MERF'S got the bug. I gotta go.
I'm gonna be tan from here up tomorrow from all the lights glowing on me.
I don't know, man. You're our field correspondent. I don't know that we can't have you on a regular basis now.
All I'm saying is, like, I'm still going to be talking shit on all of them. When this one airs, I'm going to get on there and be like making my comments after the fact.
Like, look at this motherfucker. Yeah.
You know what? We're just going to have to see how the views go. You know.
Oh, he's a real.
Hey, I went and pulled the weeds. I pulled a lot of weeds.
I keyed a lot of truck. You know. No, but I think we've definitely hit some high points for sure, and I think the mental health aspect of it all. We obviously we're all very serious about saving the kids and making sure the kids are protected, and that was one of the spooky topics that we wanted to get on. And kind of digress from there, but we kind of digress back into the legacy of things. And I think it was really, it's one of the things that only this podcast, I think, does, is we're happy to digress down a totally different line of thinking. And we were able to go through the men's mental health topics, and then we landed back here And we landed back here because of the kids and how we felt about the kids, and how much love we have for the kids in our our AO, like our immediate area of operation, right? We want to take care of the kids that we can, that are around us, and be the best dads that we can be for our kids and other kids. So I think that that's super important. I think it's important for people to see that it's not just them. It's not just them being out there as a solo dad trying to figure it all out. I think it's very important to see and understand that we're dads. We're all dads, and we're all going through the same shit, trying to figure it all out. And there's no real good blueprint for any of it. We're just doing the best we can and working on not raising assholes, like we always say. So I think and Rob said some shit.
Respectful assholes.
Respectful assholes, yeah. Very kind, respectful assholes. And Rob said something pretty profound. We've only been dads for as long as they've been alive, right? So that's something to chew on.
Yeah.
Not very often does Murph come up with something so profound.
And not a lot of us get a chance
every
to do
once in a while, a blind squirrel gets a nut.
And it just took a bottle of Healy and he found that nut, No, but I thank you both for coming on, for doing this. I know it's not the regular night. We're trying out some new stuff. We're trying out the new format.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty soon we're going to be on Rumble. Our show won't be 3 hours on Rumble. It'll probably be an hour and a half, and not pre-recorded, so you can get to us in the chat. I think there's a little chat button. We can punch that up, and we can see the chat. So I think there's some really cool stuff, and we'll be able to.
How many people have mentioned just the last few days, because we were supposed to do this podcast the last couple of days, didn't it? And like somebody, is it on live? Like, can we get on there and comment?
And this is a stepstone, right?
Right. I know we're going to have some people on there.
Yeah, we're way further along than we were a week ago or 2 weeks ago. So we're getting there. You will be able to see our show on Rumble. That'll be live, and then we're going to keep going with the pre-recorded show as well. So you won't have to worry about missing anything if it's pre-recorded, or even if it goes live on Rumble, it'll still be there. So we appreciate you guys checking it out, and we hope you like the new format. And one day we're going to build a whole ass studio so we can do this in the same place.
It's going to be. We're working up to it. These guys are killing it. They're doing their job. Some people randomly have like weird ads and shit about Double Dog Inc. Get your shirts.
Random advertising.
They handle it well. So y'all need to get on here. Just support these guys.
We take care of our tribe.
Doesn't matter what kind of studio we build, you're always going to have your handcuffs over the bed frame.
Right, yeah, I got the bedroom. We could be rich and famous 20 years down the road. For now on, my bedroom is going to be the spot for it.
So we're going to kick him out of his bedroom and just do a studio in his bedroom.
But again,
you got the shirt right side up this time.
Yeah, I had to fix it.
But yeah, so let's start closing this out, boys.
Like I said, I want to throw out again. I joke around.
Final thoughts.
Random shirt ads and stuff, but like these guys are where it's at. This is my tribe. Like Bo fucking came up with the design. I said, hey, this is my idea, and he's just sent it back like a year and a half later. It's like, I got you. But like these guys are
$1,000.
I fucking we did the drop by in Al's fucking over the weekend. Like, hey, I'm just coming by. I'm gonna work on my truck. And then I'm halfway through the work in the truck and waiting spots. And then we start pulling weeds. Then we barbecue to stay up till 3 a.m. Like, these are my guys. And I have nothing but respect for these two, along with everybody in the BVMC across the board, everybody that I've met. Like, these guys are here doing what needs to be done. They're talking about men's mental health, which is kind of a taboo thing. Oh, no, don't talk about it. Like, these guys are doing what needs to be done. that they're bringing up topics that maybe you shouldn't talk about, and they're making it a light out of it. They're not. It's not like fuck you. This is it. We're gonna hammer it down your throat. We're not going drill instructor. It's not lights. Wake the fuck up. It's literally just like they're being legit and true about it, and this is what matters. Like especially more so nowadays where we have all these other distractions and side things that are going on in the world. These guys are still pushing this in. Like you have to have your tribe. You have to have your people. You got to have your 3A friends. You need to have this shit. So like, I can't express enough the thankfulness and the appreciation that I get from listening to these episodes. Like I said, I've listened to every single one of them, and I've commented on most of them. And even if I didn't comment online, these motherfuckers got text messages from me halfway through the day. Like, what about this? What about this? And then like 20 minutes later, oh no, you get it on. Never mind, we're good.
What podcast are you watching?
Yeah, like just.
Did we say that?
Oh, every time. Well, wait, which one are you on? Always the current one. But again, like Al is awesome. The shit he does. Bo is a fucking like artistic genius. As long as you can get his attention, or there's not a fat girl he's talking to.
No.
But these guys are fucking awesome, and my shout out is going to be to you two again and JT, because I met you guys from old VIKINGS and his crazy ass 7-head. That needs to wear a hat for now on these things. But I've grown a family from it. Like it's been awesome. Like I mean Bond and Jess, and I was at Country Fan Fest and ran into Tito and fucking like just people that I know that all of a sudden I'm like even at Country Fan Fest, like big crowd, I've been drinking, I'm like, oh, I'm a little, maybe I should go to the camper. Then I run into them, and then all of a sudden I'm like, the ease of just knowing I have my tribe there now. So if something pops off, I can at least find Tito and we're good. You know what I mean? So he's going to talk his way out of it for sure.
No, dude, he's scrappy, dude. He'll throw his back out.
The face is going to be there to handle it, but like I know it's there. So much love to both of you guys. You've had me on here twice now. Hopefully we get some views because
everyone loves a soul-sucking ginger.
Right. But, what do you got, Bo, for final thoughts?
I don't know, man. Final thoughts is I thought this was a good cast. I like where we went. I like the topics that we talked about. I like the digression. Like you said, this is probably one of the only shows that you're going to listen to where we happily dive way off the fucking topic board. And we're happy about it, and we get through it. We run through it, and we sometimes we change each other's mind, and it's a good cast all around. And I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate you wanting to jump in on this new format here so we could propel ourselves to the next level. And I'm looking forward to all the success. That's really my final thought. I'm jazzed, dude. I'm like the kid on Christmas right now. I'm having a great time.
Before you jump in, we need to hit some ghost stuff next time I'm on.
That's my promise to you.
I just wanted it on the recorded version that we need to hit some ghost stuff because I got some topics.
Now I want to hear your final thoughts. The 29 Palms Humvee rollover that just happened. God rest that Marine soul. I do have some ghost stuff that's based out of 29 Palms that we will talk about next time.
Fantastic.
And your final thoughts for today.
What about you, Jarl? You want to wrap us up?
I don't have final thoughts, but I am going to wrap us up, and I'm going to wrap it so hard. I'm going to be on the fire report.
We're going to call him Trojan after this one.
Oh, dude. Nothing fits like an extra small Trojan. You know what I'm saying? That's the love, baby. So I do have to give the shout out. August 31st, Bearded Viking is sponsoring the first full MMA fight card for Fusion Fight League. It is a semi-pro mixed martial art fight league. There's going to be lots of people there. We're going to go ham on that thing, hard as a motherfucker. For those of you who don't know ham, but it is Fusion MMA or Fusion Fight League. So we are going to be tearing that up and burning it down. So it's going to be fun. It's semi-pro, and based off of what they do, I'm sure you'll be seeing them soon. So that's a huge shout out. We have the governor of Montana visiting tomorrow, in fact. So you guys will see this next later on in the week. You will hear about the governor a little bit more. He's excited to be there. And then later on in the month, we have a solid possibility that he will be there. And he identifies the him. He's going out for the Senate of Montana. The dude's a badass.
Oh,
He
yeah.
is.
His post is awesome about that.
He's a Navy SEAL. The dude's a stud.
I saw an interview with him just today, as a matter of fact. Yeah.
I'm telling you, the guy's
a badass.
stud.
Yeah.
He's a stud. And so we'll probably get some good time with him. So lots of cool things coming up. You're gonna be able to see the live show soon. You'll be able to see the pre-recorded long form version. I'm really excited for what's gonna happen. My toes are tingling. It's like a light bolt hit the tip. It's gonna be a lot of fun, guys. So
ride the lightning, buddy.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
And the words of our beloved Vico, keep him in your thoughts. He's going through a rough time, working his ass off. Cheers, motherfucker. Stay weird, beardos.
Shock 'em always, gang.
Nothing. Fuck you, Rob.
Bye. See you again soon.
This motherfucker.
Hey, you know what we need to talk about? Look at my hair all grown out.
It looks good. You look good on camera.
20 years without this.
You look like Tyler Childers.
There's nothing like making a mistake for 20 years,
Thanks a lot, Marine Corps.
And what are we, Jarl? We are.
We are out.
There you go, dancing dirty. Hips moving all back and forth. Making them sexy eyes. Got 'em big hand for more. Here you come walking over. With sin in your hand.
Close to the
So-
freeway.
So fucking fun.
So hungry.
I'm better than Force South.
It's not even that far.
It's so far. But I mean, not for you. But for me.
I fucking 201 to I-15, and it's 5 minutes off the freeway.
I mean, I understand how to get there. I appreciate your directions there, California.
I'm just helping you out here.
Holy fuck. You know what? I never would have found it without you telling me which freeways to join or get on, What
I got that right there
your
for
black knuckle.
Yeah.
It
Well,
looks like-
now it's black. See,
it looks like you painted it on.
it doesn't fucking come off.
When people dress up for Halloween as like the cartoon characters,
And then the next day it's still there.
yeah, that's exactly what it looks like.
Gay.
It's like hard G.
Right.